5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They've landed.
You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
Talk radio.
You hear us, we hear you.
Yeah, good evening everybody and welcome to another edition of the KTPF Community Talk Show. My name is Suzanne.
And I'm Steve.
And tonight's guest, we have a young man I've been trying to get on for ages and ages, but he's so busy. We'll find out how busy he is later on. But his name is Stephen Mercer, and he's the author of Haunted Blackpool and also the founder of Supernatural Events. So we'll be talking to him later on and seeing what he's been up to. He's also an aromatherapist and a holistic person and ghost walker and everything. He's Jack. Perhaps we should call him Jack.
Yeah, why not? Therapist.
Pissed. He's trying so hard. And he says it's still no relation. So.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all right then. So how have you been? We've been okay. And if you've just joined us, this is a relaxed TV. No, it's not a TV.
A relaxed chat.
A relaxed chat show that we do every week. And as usual, we have our guest panelists in. We have Steve. We have
me. Hey, I like
Steve
it.
again. We have Chris Andrews from Club Zero.
Hello. Christopher.
How are you, Chris?
I'm half left. How are you, chicken?
I'm getting that way.
I could do with a bit of aroma. Last bit.
Aromatherapy.
Yeah.
Aromatherapy. And we've also got Emma.
Hi.
Emma. She's back.
Yes, Miss Emma Knight.
I'm back.
Yes, she disappeared when I had all them big words to say.
Yes, she did. Have you made up for it this week?
No, there isn't that many.
I know, I had a little look through.
Andy said, "Well, it's kind of TV. Well, only on the night.
Only on the night.
Only on the night. If you're listening to us on radio replay, then we welcome you to join us sometime in the live chat room one Sunday. And also, if Chris Mack is listening from London, I'm going to say hello to you again, give you another shout out. So
yeah, just like TV, he says.
Yeah.
Graham Norton, eat your heart out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's
Really
we've not
weird.
had a bad week, have we?
No, not bad at all, really.
I nearly had another stroke.
Well,
So
is that what we call good?
no,
Depends where you're stroking.
that was a really bad thing that happened. An event decided to pull the wool over my eyes, or try to, basically. So, and I was a bit worried I was going to lose some money out of it.
That's what you get for investigating farmhouses.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's-
got it.
That's what you get for panicking.
I know. So, but at least it's all sorted now, which is good.
Yeah.
So,
And it didn't take much sorting either, just took a phone call.
I know. But after my Brancaster fiasco with the flights, I panicked.
Excuse me, Brancaster was not a fiasco.
Well, no, the flights were.
Well, no, organising the flights was, but
It was nowhere near fiasco.
no, that's about 200
It
miles
was in
north. Of it.
Romania.
I know. So, but
Fiasco's
you know,
got all them big hills in
but
it.
that was down to, who did we go with? Oh, Lufthansa, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was down to them. They took money for flights they didn't have.
Look at that. We now
So-
Mank Hypnoman has joined us.
Oh, good evening.
Is it
Alistair, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is Alistair, yes.
I think it's Alistair. Or
We have
Alexander.
Alistair, we have Andy.
Yes. So we have a few people
We
watching.
yes, we have 9 viewers, but only a few of us in the chat room.
Yes. So that. But normally they come in by 8:30. I must admit. PJ's there. Good evening, PJ.
Howdy.
So as I say, if you just joined us, we've got Stephen Mercer on tonight, and so it's not going to be too bad with getting mixed up tonight. Not like it was when we had Steve Mayer on and Steve Johnson and you, Steve Taggart. It was like, Steve, which one?
That was cool. You said Steve, and we all answered you.
But yeah, so we've got Stephen Mercer on tonight, author of Haunted Blackpool.
This
And,
is this is true, Andy.
At least it wasn't Luftwaffe.
Yes,
So
Mr. Ace Paradox has joined.
yes, good evening,
Evening,
Paul.
Paul.
Hello, Paul.
So very nice to meet you at the last meeting.
It was actually meet the voice.
Yes, man behind the voice. So it's nice to meet the person behind the voice, isn't it? Now and again.
Mm.
So don't you agree, Steve?
I do agree. When I saw Paul, I thought to myself, I know that face,
Mm.
and I don't wish to be cheeky because Paul's a very nice man
He is a very nice man.
and a very clever man. But I thought, I know that.
Did you think who I thought it was? Do you
Well-
think he looks a bit like Fred Bat?
No,
Oh,
he does a little bit, but that wasn't what I was thinking of.
What was you thinking?
I was thinking of my childhood and a TV program.
oh right, okay. Oh no, not him.
Just a little bit.
Well, we've got the pair drops in for Chris Andrews.
If they weren't there, we'd have had to stop the show.
I actually went out especially to get them today because I'd run out.
Have I ever told you what a wonderful human being you are?
You have now,
Yes. I
And
declare
just-
my love for you.
and I thank you for exaggerating.
And just to verify for Paul, he looks nothing like Jeffrey Bolden.
Who?
Paul,
Oh, not me. Oh.
Paul Paradox.
There's got some question marks coming up there.
That's why I thought I'd better say something. I didn't think he looked anything like him.
I thought he looked a bit more like
He-
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He did at one angle.
At one angle.
I caught him at an angle, and he has got quite a thin face and that little tufty beard there. So I thought yes,
No,
but I do like Paul's a very nice man.
I didn't see no Touchwood with him.
No, Touchwood wasn't with him.
I don't know. Anyway, we digress.
Did you see Touchwood at the meeting?
Paul, it's got nothing to do with me, love. Nothing to do with me.
Do you actually know what we're talking about?
Arr.
Do you actually know what we're talking about?
No. That's why it's got
No
nothing to do
idea.
with
It's
me.
going over my head.
Yeah. I'm just
Yes,
sticking with
and-
rent to go.
And Emma's just too young to know it.
I don't know.
Paul, come and save me. Do you know what they're talking about, pal? Because I have no idea.
I think he does.
Yes, I thought that. I thought that in my mind when you said it. Yeah.
He's saying,
Oh dear.
always saying no.
No.
Yeah. Emma, you won't remember that. Yeah.
No, you
No,
won't
it's
remember.
Fantastic looking gentleman.
It's way
Honestly.
way
Yeah.
before your time.
Okay.
Lovely.
Very
person.
mystical though, wasn't
I used
it?
to love that programme.
Yeah.
We're talking about the ITN News at 10, Paul, by the way. News at 10 something. You
No,
don't see
you've
of
got
anymore,
nothing
is it?
like him. Maybe a little bit like Fred Bat, I thought.
Yeah, it looks
Yes.
a bit like Fred
He
Bat.
does.
does.
He does.
Yeah.
Very
Fred
much
Bat,
like Fred
yeah.
Bat. You know,
But with white hair.
with white hair, yeah. It was the face and I thought, and then I realised it was actually Paul.
Yeah.
Yes, I did that double take
Yes.
initially as well.
Yeah.
I thought,
Oh dear.
I think he'd
I'm in
prefer.
trouble now.
I think he'd prefer to be Jeffrey Bolden.
I don't know. But anyway, let's get on with tonight's show.
And moving on, he says.
And moving on.
Not a fan of Mr. Bat, says Andy.
No, he's not. And
Well, he has his own. Mr. Bat has his own peculiar way of looking at things, shall we say?
But we're fans of Mr. Paradox.
Oh,
Hey,
yes,
we are
definitely.
indeed.
I remember being on, when we was on the City Talk radio, Fred Bat was on the show
Yes,
via phone.
he was.
I'm sure it was there where I actually asked him about this business about calling up demons, and we're watching the show
Yeah.
on a live. Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
I don't
but-
know what you think, Chris, but basically the way I'm looking at it, we're watching TV. Okay, a bit like here. There's a few minutes delay. Yeah. Right. Fred Bat is on the telly. Yeah, and he's chanting to bring up Beelzebub or something with his demonology.
And all that
And you're
chance coming
watching
out
it
in our
live.
living room.
Now, years and years ago, how many people were watching Uri Geller, stuck a spoon on top of the telly, and then saw it bend on a live? So I asked him whether it's possible that he could be calling in people into your home because it's live. He
Good
didn't think so.
concept.
He didn't think so.
Well, I mean, is it?
No, he said it only happens there, but
Yeah.
But
if you think about it, he's saying the words, but it's coming out of your telly. So
Where's the reassurance, though? There's
There
no
wasn't.
reassurance,
there wasn't, but because it's being said in your house.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, nothing actually happened
No.
in our house, but
But
in
you
theory,
think
it
about
could.
it.
in
But
theory,
if
it's
if it
possible.
works where he's saying it,
Yeah.
then why
But
wouldn't
you
it work
will
where
have
it
people-
sounds
John,
coming out?
There will be people out there
Oh yeah.
who watch this who do believe, like, they don't believe in
No.
seances, call out, or nothing like that. They
No.
believe it's all in league with the devil. So they will, but there is people out there
Yeah.
who will believe, like, I'm subjected to this, and there's all this
How many
going on and
times
all
have
that
you
going
watched
on.
a live and seen the ticker tape along the bottom saying my dog's going mad at the TV or
Yeah.
this has happened and that's happened? You know what I mean? Yeah, whilst we've been watching.
I'll have to stop writing them. It is
But
true.
you know what I mean? So how do we know, without them saying on the live, this will not interfere with you at home? You know what I mean?
I wonder, did they actually put that up? A disclaimer?
didn't.
Yeah, but there's no
there's
no
no
evidential
disclaimer.
proof to state that that's not the case,
No.
is it?
What's-
Who's to
if
know
they-
that it can't happen?
Well, if they're
Somebody
doing it,
might believe something
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
drastically enough, it'll happen to them anyway.
Precisely.
I once called a demon. Once. And
Here we go.
No, I did. I once call a demon. I've never been able to get in contact with her since she ceased to be my mother-in-law. But I'm
See what I
informed.
mean?
But
Now,
yeah.
as
I-
Andy said,
I can still contact my mate.
Yeah.
Andy 707 said it's all for show. We can understand it's all for show, but there's people, like PJ said, that are open to suggestion. You know what I mean? And how do they, people would sit there and think, well, hang on a minute.
That's the key word, though, isn't it?
It
Open
is.
to suggestion. You can
So-
suggest anything to somebody, and to some people, they can believe all sorts. But when people believe things, beliefs can manifestate themselves to themselves. It's like people with the Ouija board. Some people go in and do it, and it doesn't cause them any harm. But other people go in and think, nah, because they've got this complex about it. It can
They've
create
invoked a
some
demon.
mental aspect towards them.
Well, we wanted a demon, we got one.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider's
Ghost
finally
Rider come in,
appeared.
he said, "You call for a demon, I'm here."
He's finally appeared. Right, I'll tell you what we're about to do. We haven't got long. We're going to have to get hold of Emma to go through the observations for the week. Off you go,
Okay.
Emma.
Yes, there isn't a lot. There isn't a lot there, so
yeah.
very
Okay.
quiet week, wasn't
Put
it?
the things on when she's talking.
I'm
about
doing it.
Okay, the first one is an account that dates back to 1975. A witness statement, saved from fatal accident by a voice. In May 1975, in Steve, you promised there wouldn't be hard words. Bethesda, I don't think that's right, Maryland. Yeah, it's in Maryland in America.
Bethesda.
I was driving along a stretch of Burdett Road, notorious for a series of steep hills measuring some 20 feet from trough to crest, and about 50 feet from crest to crest. I had just reached the first crest when my stomach suddenly knotted up, and I heard a voice urgently commanded me to pull over. Pull over now, that's all it said. My instinct told me not to take the time to think about it, so I pulled up onto the rather steep embankment that served as a roadside. Just a second or two after I pulled over, a car appeared over the crest of the hill that I had been about to climb. It was airborne and landed in my lane. If I hadn't have pulled over, it would have either landed on my car or hit me head on. There's a lot of people who have accounts of things like that, especially in cars and transportation, and they put
They
down
do.
to
There's
guardian angels and
There's a local one round here. Do you know Daisy Nook?
yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
You know, as you come down through Daisy Nook to come up to the Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lady who was coming around there, and just on the first bend, where you got that road off to the right, she saw a little girl, and she was telling her to slow down,
Right.
and so she did, and just as she come round, the car came flying around the top, and it would have actually hit her, and she had a daughter, and that was so it could have been quite dangerous.
Wow.
There's a lot of reports of things like that, isn't there? It's a
Yeah.
really strange concept. Little guardian angels there hiding.
Okay, next one. The Green Children, an account that dates back to 1887. In 1887, two small children were found alone near the town of Baños, Spain. But these were no ordinary children who had been lost or abandoned by parents. They were discovered by field hands who were distracted from their work by frightened cries. Upon investigation, they found a small boy and girl, scared and crying, huddled near the entrance to a cave. Their language was unknown to the workers. It certainly wasn't Spanish. More mysterious still, they wore clothes made of a strange metallic cloth, and their skin had an odd green tint. After being taken to the village to be cared for, the boy soon died, after it was difficult to get either of them to eat anything. But the girl survived, and when at last she was able to communicate in Spanish with her caregivers, she told them that she and her brother had come from a place that had no sun, but a land of perpetual twilight. When asked how they came to be at the cave, she said that they had heard a loud bang and were pushed through something and then were in the cave. I've heard of this one before, and it's a strange one. Okay, moving on to the next one, which is slightly similar. Zana the Ape Woman. Zana's story is that of another feral female, but her story is quite different than others. While feral children are wild and animal-like in behaviour, but always human, Zana actually looks somewhat less than human. Discovered in the mid-1700s in the Russian province of Georgia, Zana, as she was named, had many ape-like features, thick arms, legs and fingers, and she was covered with hair. Some have speculated that she was a survivor of a Neanderthal race, or perhaps a female Bigfoot, or some kind of human-ape hybrid. Okay, so got another one called The Orphan's Ghost. Another account. A caseworker on the midnight shift of a detention centre, once an orphanage, learns a dark secret of the building's tragic past, and why a mischievous orphan's ghost still lingers. Buildings that have been sites of great misery, anguish and trauma and sadness are often haunted by the spirits of people who suffered there. Unfortunately, to humanity's profound disgrace, in the 19th century orphanages were sometimes these kinds of horrible places, and the ghosts of children have been found to linger in surviving buildings. Mickey C. was a social worker in one of these former orphanages, where he encountered the spirit of a small boy. This is Mickey's story. When I was 27 in 1981, I took a job in North Chelmsford, Massachusetts, as a case manager in a maximum security juvenile detention centre. The buildings on the grounds were built circa late 1800s as a state-run orphanage. The main building was used as administration offices, chapel and classrooms. The buildings were abandoned in the late 1960s and then purchased in the late 1970s by the Robert F. Kennedy Action Corps, which renovated the main building as a detention centre that housed teen offenders deemed too violent to be in conventional correctional institutions. It was a large building, and all the windows were covered by heavy steel mesh screens to prevent cutting or prying. Every room was securely locked and needed a key. The rec room comprised half the second floor and had a vaulted ceiling with 12 windowed eaves, which I think are probably like alcoves. Originally, it was the orphanage's chapel. He goes on, when I was hired, I was assigned as one of the 3 night case managers, or basically caretakers. One of our responsibilities was to vacuum the rec room, which was fine at first, but then I started getting uncomfortable feeling up there, when I was up there. I always had the sense that someone was watching me. I even could tell where this person was, in one of the window eaves. And when I turned to look, it seemed that I just glimpsed someone ducking into the eave before I could see him clearly. I don't know why, but I sensed it was a boy, and that he was playing with me. Then strange things began to happen. I would be vacuuming and the vacuum would stop. Defective vacuum? Maybe. It only did this in the rec room though, and I had to do an hourly security checks. As I was walking down the hall, I could hear someone walking behind me, taking steps when I did, and stopping when I did. I could sense sadness, but also the mischievousness of a kid. I finally expressed these creepy feelings at one of the weekly staff meetings. Later, my supervisor took me aside and told me when the renovations were taking place, many weird things were reported. Lights would go out and come back on. The electronically locked cell doors would spring open. Footsteps without people were heard, and they were all dismissed because it was an old building going through renovations. My supervisor said that she suspected something supernatural and did some research on the orphanage. She found it was a terrible place where kids were abused, mistreated and housed for state funds. The kids were numbers, not names. She also found out about a death there. A 9-year-old boy supposedly hung himself in the chapel, now the rec room where I had my strange experiences. My supervisor asked me to show her where I felt this person I spoke of. I took her to one of the eaves and told her this was where I sensed the boy's presence. She said this was where the window where the boy supposedly hung himself. After this, I wasn't fearful anymore. I started talking to him when I was up there. It actually seemed to be comfortable when I was there. My supervisor warned, however, that she feared many spirits were in the building, and this was a bad choice for the corpse to house a detention centre. There's so many haunted asylums and hospitals out there. I remember going to, was it Newsham with you guys?
Yeah.
That was an amazing place. I'd love to go back there.
You're quite welcome to join us next time we go.
Yeah, I'd take you up on that. Just a really small one. A TV show called Destination Truth. Sad news for fans, as it's been axed after 5 seasons. Widely thought of as one of the best paranormal TV shows, and we wish Josh and his crew all the best for the future. This says. So, yeah. I never watched that one myself, but I've heard of it.
It's quite good. He done quite a few, didn't he?
Yeah, it was. It was one of them where they was told about something, and they went out to try and either catch it or debunk it.
Yeah.
Whether that be ghost or chupacabra or some river god or something, they've been trying to catch all sorts of stuff. McKellen Amby actually went out once and tried to catch, and they went out in the woods, and this whole tree just started moving.
Wow!
But they didn't actually catch that particular animal.
Oh well, it sounds interesting. I might give it a watch if I can find it.
Good evening, Viscount.
Yeah, Viscount's there.
And that's
Hello.
the news.
There's no wrong with me here.
Yes, as you can tell for them, it's getting harder and harder to find more up-to-date things.
Yes. This is it.
I think it's a season, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone's out enjoying themselves.
Yep. We're also hoping to get somebody to come on and talk about crop circles, because it's a season for them as well.
Aye, it is.
So
Very much so.
Not had anybody on about that yet. So that'll be good. But it is a topic.
Why don't we go and make one? Let's go and do our own. Just put our club's insignia into the field.
I think that might be a bit obvious that it was us, though, Chris.
Well, you said
apparently people do believe in them, don't they, Steve?
They do. I mean, you hear stories of people walking around with planks on their feet.
Yeah.
Trying to, but it's even if it is fake, it's some of them are so intricate.
They are.
And just looking at them, unless you actually get right down to the core of what's been broken and how it's been broken, you wouldn't, because they don't actually kill the plant.
No, and also, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I read somewhere that they tested the wheat and it had been treated with heat. It had, been activated with heat. They could tell this from doing tests. So makes you wonder what was used to, to create it.
Yes, there is a gentleman who's classed as one of the experts on the thing. I think we've been trying to get hold of the gentleman, but at the moment he's probably very busy actually checking out crop circles.
Apparently it's only ever wheat, barley, rye, maize and rapeseeds that it actually happens.
Yeah.
So,
I know there was a program on Channel 4 where they actually went out and did it, didn't they? They actually hired some students and actually went out and made a crop circle.
Yeah,
well,
I think I saw one there.
It's so symmetrical. I couldn't draw that. Look, the symmetrical. If you're looking down from an aerial point of view, looking down on it, and they're so symmetrical. It's amazing how they do it.
Yeah.
But when they're actually doing it with these planks, they're on the ground level, so they're seeing it in a different way. So how they get it like that is beyond me.
And some of them are perfect circles.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you get that curve?
I wouldn't know where to begin with that.
Well, we'll have to ask somebody.
In the 17th century, England, Woodcut, this person called Woodcut, I'm assuming that's his name, called the mowing devil, depicted a devil with a scythe mowing cutter, a circular design in a field of oats. That's folklore about it. Yeah. So
Ace said he visited the crop circle several years ago, and his 2 camcorder batteries both failed on him.
Who said that?
Ace.
Oh, right.
Ace Paradox.
So you never know. You never know. So
yeah, and Andy says there was a great show that showed how they could be made, and very quickly.
Yeah.
String and pin.
String and pin. Yeah.
Well, but that's easy to get a circle. But if you pin the middle and put a string round, you flatten everything in the middle.
Yeah, because you've got
that isn't the case on.
So the geometric patterns
all
in the
the
middle.
geometric patterns inside one of these things.
Yeah.
And most of these are done at night time before the farmers whoever wake up.
Yeah.
So visibility is nil if you've got there with the torches and whatnot. So all they've got is the little devices with the planks or whatever, the pins and the rope or whatever. It's so symmetrical, so big, it's so flamboyant, and you could probably measure them with a a ruler or something, and they'd be perfect in every detail. All in in low visibility in such a quick time. I find it amazing, really.
Because the original patterns, I think most of the ufologists were saying that they were like the base of a UFO landing or something, wouldn't it?
If you look at a band called Led Zeppelin, their nickname was Zofo, and on their album, they'd have pictures of crop circles and things like that, and their insignia, some of their insignias for their nicknames was actually crop circles and things like that.
But I've seen some where people have taken obviously pictures from above, and when they've zoomed into them, parts of it actually look like circuit boards.
Jimmy Page was Zofo. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Jimmy Page. Not true. Which is not true. Which part? What we're looking at. There was an album. Which is true. They had a double album because I used to have it, and on the front of it was crop circles. But I can't remember what the name of the album was. It's a double.
I dare say, Sue or Emma will find that out for you.
I will have a look. So
nearly time to ring Mr. Stephen.
It will be.
Yes, it's.
So just having a look.
The best of album, something like it was. I can't remember. I remember having the album, and I remember having crop circles on it.
So. Let's have a look. Say.
Great band. Yeah, I agree with you there.
I like Led Zeppelin 4, must admit.
Yeah.
Led
Zeppelin 4, Stairway to Heaven, and
that was their big
California,
one, really, wasn't it? That was their breakthrough album for everybody, wasn't it? I mean, obviously they're a big fan base before that, but that's the one that seemed to cross boundaries.
No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing any covers for some reason. They're not showing me.
I think it's like Andy said there. It's like the best of.
Yeah.
But it shows these crop circles, and I think there's got a line going through it, and they're quite well made.
Let us.
But it's a real crop circle. It's a real photograph of one.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not sure.
If you're writing Led Zeppelin album covers,
that's what I was looking for.
It should, or the best of.
Can you click on that, Emma? And yes, and quickly read that one out first, because it links into one we've already had there.
Yeah, so green children in England, the Green Children of Woolpit. The legend of the Green Children of Woolpit concerns two children of unusual skin colour who reportedly appeared in the village of Woolpit in Suffolk, England, sometime in the 12th century, perhaps during the reign of King Stephen. The children, brother and sister, were of generally normal appearance, except for the green colour of their skin. They spoke in an unknown language, and the only food that they would eat was beans. Eventually they learned to eat other food and lost their green pallor, but the boy was sickly and died soon after, and he and his sister were baptised. The girl adjusted to her new life, but she was considered to be rather loose and wanton in her conduct. After she learned to speak English, the girl explained that she and her brother had come from St. Martin's Land, an underground world whose inhabitants are green. The only near contemporary accounts are contained in William of Newburgh's Historia Rerum Angelicarum and Ralph of Cogshaw's it's all these hard words again. Chronicum Angelicum, written about 1189 and 1220 respectively. Between then and their rediscovery in the mid-19th century, the green children seemed to surface only in a passing mention in William Camden's Britannica in 1586, and in Bishop Francis Godwin's fantastical The Man in the Moon, in both which William of Newburgh's accounts is cited. So it's a very similar story in the fact that the boy died in each one.
And the female continues. It's just a pity that there's no evidence as to A, it happening, but B, as to what happened to the girl afterwards.
It doesn't really follow it up, does it?
No. Unfortunately.
But do you think maybe it's just a recurring, folklore that seems to pop up in different countries, or, I don't know.
And Andy 707 has said Robert Burton suggested in the 1621 An Anatomy of Melancholy that green children fell from heaven. He's gonna check the book he has at home.
Well, I have Stephen Mercer on the phone.
Oh, let's speak to Stephen then.
Yes. Let's get him on the line, shall we? Good evening, young man.
Good evening, how are we?
Oh, not too bad. Hopefully everyone can hear you in the chat room. At last, I finally get you on the show.
Oh, it's only been a few months, hasn't it?
Oh, yes. Well, anyway, we need to know a little bit about yourself first, Stephen, if you may.
Not a problem. As you can probably tell from my accent, I come from Northern Ireland, and that's where I had my first paranormal experience whenever I was a young child. I don't know if you want me to go into that or
yes.
move forward in time.
When you're ready, just talk about whatever you want to talk about.
No problems. We're going back to whenever I was probably 11 or 12 years of age.
Yeah.
I lived in a little village, and right opposite where I lived, it was just countryside, fields, farms, rivers, streams, bridges, and of course an old haunted house, an old farm that was very dilapidated, and we always used to go up and play in small groups, but one day I decided to go and find out for myself. I'd always been interested from a very young age in paranormal, and I went up, and that's where I had my first encounter. I'd gone into the main building, and there was one door opposite. I walked over towards it. I thought, I'll have a look inside, see what it is. And as I reached out to get the door handle, the door flung open towards me, and I shot back about 6-7 foot. So that was the first occasion something happened that I couldn't explain. It wasn't until years later that I sort of put it all together and realized that there really was something in there. And that made a bit of a believer out of me. Then I moved over to Blackpool, where I'm based now. And because of where I have worked in Blackpool, I've found a lot of haunted locations. And that's where I started to take people into to investigate. And now I run supernatural events, which does ghost hunts, ghost tours, and Blackpool ghost walks, telling people about all those reported hauntings and things that go on.
Which you've recently advertised on Paranormal Events for You.
Yeah, very recently.
Yes. Now, going back to your tours and everything, and the places that you've been to, can you tell us some stories of the haunted Blackpool? Because you've written a book, haven't you, about it?
Yes. When I started doing the ghost walks, somebody approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in writing all these stories down. I thought it was a bit of a joke to start off with, and then I heard from them again just a couple of days afterward, and they were from a publishing company, and that's when I started to write. So in 2011, it was published, Haunted Blackpool. At the moment, I'm writing another one in the same area, Haunted Lytham St Anne's. But there's so many stories, and some of them are very creepy. Some of them I really can't explain. Some of them are not so much ghost stories, but more legend, more myth. And of course, a lot of people like ghost stories, so a lot of locations, a lot of pubs, for example, will start saying that they've got ghosts. So I started to go in and do a bit of an investigation in those to find out for myself before I start telling stories. But yeah, there's a lot of locations in Blackpool. For example, the Grand Theatre in Blackpool, that's where I used to work, and where I had sort of one of my first encounters. They have what they describe as a resident ghost, Charlie. Now, they don't know what he was originally called. We are going back to the 1930s when this event took place. And back then, when you paid money to go into a theatre, you didn't have to give them your name or address, as you do nowadays. You paid your money and you were taken in and shown to a seat. Well, this gentleman used to go in and he watched the same show night after night after night. He basically fell in love with the leading lady of the production. So he used to take gifts, flowers, wine, chocolates. He was quite a wealthy man. 2-stage door passed on to her. And because she knew that she was going to move on to another theatre, another town, I guess, they were always returned to the gentleman. And he took great offence at this after a while and decided to take the ultimate revenge and threw himself from the upper circle balcony, which is about 30 foot up from the floor, right down into the stalls, which had a wooden floor back then. And he landed head first, so you can imagine the damage that was done. He passed away, and ever since then, many people have seen the ghost of Charlie roaming the upper circle or downstairs in the stalls area. So many people did used to go in there just to try and find out if Charlie was there or if they could see or sense anything. That's one of my favourites of Blackpool.
I think that was the first time I actually contacted you when you was working at the theatre.
That's right.
Trying to get in myself.
It was very difficult. I left the theatre a few years ago, and they stopped doing any sort of ghost tours. They still do heritage tours, and I know that the gentleman that does that still talks about Charlie and possibly one or two other stories, but I don't think anyone actually goes in to do ghost hunts and investigations anymore, sadly. It is one of the great places to go into.
Yeah.
There are many others as well. I used to go into Blackpool Tower, into the ballroom.
Yeah.
I used to go into the Pleasure Beach. They've started to allow people to go back in again now.
Yeah.
Of course, I still do ghost hunts at Blackpool Zoo.
Really?
Which is a shock to most people when they hear about it.
What would we find in a zoo?
Well, the zoo itself is built on the ground that used to be the original aerodrome during World War II. And they used to build bombers at the zoo, and some of the animals are still kept in the original hangars. And the air traffic control tower is now a nursery and some of the keepers' flats. So some of the original buildings that go back to the war years are still there, and they're quite eerie.
Yeah.
An example of that would be the Elephant House, an amazing place, especially for the public area, but we go behind the scenes, and many people have sensed things that go on. Many people have seen strange things. There's one small room in there that whenever people have opened the door and stood inside, an example would be the filing cabinet that is in there. Drawers kept opening and closing. There were piles of storage containers that just for no reason fell over on top of people, and they were stood on the other side of the room. So there's a lot of strange things that go on up there, and we put it down to the fact that of what it used to be rather than what it is now, because people did fly off into battle. They left the UK and flew from Blackpool Zoo off into the war. Sadly, many not to return as well. So Blackpool does have quite a bit of history that people don't really know about.
Has any of the paranormal activity affected any of the animals? Because you know what animals are like, they're very sensitive.
They are very sensitive, but we haven't had any problems. We do sort of keep away from the animal enclosures whenever we go in, and that's for that reason. We don't want them to get spooked.
No.
Especially...
I take it there's nowhere where the animals are that have got activity then?
Well, as I say, the Elephant House does have activity, but the elephants are used to it, I think.
Right.
Whenever we're there, they do come over. The elephants wander over towards us,
right,
and they will watch what's going on, and they seem quite entertained. They'll wander up and down that large indoor enclosure as if they're following people around. So I think they're quite used to it.
Now we've got a chap called Red Goose in the chat room. Never seen that name before, but welcome to the KTPF Community Talk Show. He's asking whether he's heard you described. He's wondering whether you are the man that he's heard described as Blackpool's master of the macabre.
Now, I know where that has come from.
Have you? Do you?
You know a team called Para Projects?
Oh, yes, friends of ours.
Debbie Robinson?
Yeah, Jebby and Mark Rosney and
Bob?
everybody.
Well, Jebby came out with that a few years ago. I was part of the filming that they did in Blackpool for Spook School.
Right.
So I brought them into the North Pier Theatre.
Yeah.
And also the Grand Theatre. So I've known them quite a while, and that's Jebby's little phrase for me.
Is it?
Because he knows that some of the stories I can come out with on the ghost walks
Right.
can be quite dark.
Very dark. Well, we'll be talking about your ghost walks in more detail in a moment, on what you actually do on these sort of things. But looking at your resume that you sent me, there's quite a few places that you've been to. Now, Louis Tussaud's Waxworks. Now, we've all seen the movie, Murder at the Waxworks and stuff like that. What kind of things happen there?
Well, Louis Tussaud's Waxworks sadly is no longer in Blackpool.
Right.
We now have Madame Tussaud's in that building.
Right.
So I haven't gone in to see what it's like as far as a ghost investigation goes.
Yeah.
But if we go back to when it was Louis Tussaud's wax, that was quite strange. It was entertaining because they did have it was more like a dungeon downstairs, the House of Horrors. So we used to go down there in the middle of the night, and of course it was already filled with mannequins dressed up and waxworks as these fictional characters. But there were one or two areas where strange things would happen, and a lot of the activity that we picked up on seemed to be around energies. So, for an example, on the ground floor, towards the back of the building, where there was no electricity, nothing going on there, a lot of back then, we just used EMF meters, they would start going off. People would start picking up on temperature changes. We did get a lot of strange phenomena in photographs, some of which were orbs, some were mist. And of course, in that sort of a building, it's not going to be extremely cold. So we couldn't really figure out what these mists were. A lot of people have differing opinions on orbs at the moment, so leave those to one side. But even, some of the temperature changes, you were looking at somewhere between 7 and 12 degrees of a difference in temperature between two people stood next to each other. When these energy readings were coming through on EMF meters, that could not be explained, I want to say logically or scientifically. So we had a lot of that. There was also a lot of people that said there was a young child playing in that area as well. So there was a lot of strange things picked up in there.
Yeah. Also, one thing I do want to ask you about is the Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Now, we've spoken about this in the past. You were the first one who ever went in there. Am I right in thinking that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I know obviously there was the TV shows, but after that, yes, I started to take people in.
Right. Now, is it just the ghost train that's haunted, or are there any other spots around there?
There are a few areas in the Pleasure Beach.
Yeah.
When I used to do the ghost hunts in there, I would go into the ghost train because everyone wanted to go into the ghost train.
Yeah.
They've obviously heard the story of Cloggy. And there were a lot of strange things that went on in there that couldn't be explained. I would never look at sort of EMF meter readings and temperature readings because you were inside, outside. If it was cold outside, it would be freezing in the ghost train. It's just not something that you could rely on. But I used to like going into some of the other areas. One was the ice arena. There used to be some strange things that were picked up in there. One of the previous managers that used to work there a few years back used to talk about seeing an ice skater out on the rink itself. And that was whenever it was completely closed.
Yeah.
He was the only one in the building. There was night security across the way. So that was one of the reasons why I took people in there as well. I wanted to get to the bottom of that. Some people did see things going on. And there were definitely no ice skaters in. There were no other members of the public. It was very much just the group that I had on the ghost hunt. So there's quite a few areas. I know that now the Pleasure Beach do actually take in ghost hunts, and they go into one or two other areas as well.
Right. Okay. So I'm just getting questions now from inside the hub. I'm getting questions now.
Uh-huh.
But one thing that one of the questions here is, in your opinion, what is the most haunted place in Blackpool and why?
Oh, that changes a lot. On how many times I seem to go into places. I would say that Blackpool North Pier Theatre, very much haunted.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it would be the North Pier Theatre.
Right. And is that where you start your ghost walks?
I start from the front end of the pier,
right,
and during the holiday periods, because the pier is open and it's free for people to walk down anyway,
right,
I wander down the pier at the very end and tell some of the ghost stories of the pier as well as inside the theatre.
Right, and how long does your ghost walks last for?
They last an hour and a half.
Uh-huh.
They start from North Pier, and they take in part of the promenade where I talk about Blackpool Tower,
yeah,
Pleasure Beach, Waxwork, even the Sea Life Centre sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we wander through part of the town centre to an area called St John's Square, which is close to the Winter Gardens and Opera House.
Right.
Wander past the Grand Theatre, and then make our way through some of the smaller streets and back to North Pier. It's entertaining, it's fun, and it's also quite educational for those that really want to know more about the spooky stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It seems to be the big thing, doesn't it, really?
Yeah,
and you I don't want to say you dress up, you get into the part,
I do.
Don't you?
Say it, I dress up.
You get into the part.
Very much a Victorian town.
Mm-hmm.
It really built up from the 1890s onwards.
Yeah.
I mean, the first attraction that came in Blackpool was actually North Pier. Not looking as it does now.
No.
But that was its first attraction, hence I start there. Then Blackpool Tower came in 1894, as did the Grand Theatre. So Blackpool is very much a Victorian town. So one of the things I do is dress up in a Victorian costume. I don't wear the top hat because I do look a bit silly, but it's entertaining because it is family friendly.
Yeah.
It does start, 7:30. I don't want it to be just for adults only. I want everyone to enjoy it and have fun. So dressing up is great for the children.
Mm-hmm.
The young people, they do tend to end up walking away with my walking cane or my little bag or anything that I've got with me. So it's part of the fun side of it as well.
Yeah. Well, we're going to come away from Blackpool for a little bit, because I've noticed that you've done a lot of other things, special events, an audience with Derek Acora, Richard Felix, What is a Ghost, and stuff like that, even Pendle Hill. What was your opinion of Pendle Hill? How did Halloween go on that?
That was an anniversary, I think. That was the first anniversary of Supernatural Events, and I think that goes back to 2007.
Uh-huh.
That was a bit of a disaster.
Right.
Because they changed everything.
Yeah.
Halloween at Pendle Hill, where there were no market traders anymore. Nobody was selling any wares. They didn't even have the hot dog stands. They'd stopped entrance into the graveyard as well. So what we were expecting when we got there wasn't actually there. And only a few people managed to make it to the top of Pendle Hill. I personally love going to Pendle.
Yeah.
To me, it's a wonderful area. Its history is amazing. It is not far away from me, so I do tend to go once or twice a year there.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in its history and trying to learn more about the Lancashire witches. So I think, from a historical point of view, it's a great area.
On the subject of the Lancashire witches, we're booked to go to Lancaster Castle next Saturday.
Fabulous.
And I wonder whether you could tell us a bit about it.
Well, I took people there, but we didn't go on a ghost hunt.
No.
We went on one of their tours.
Yeah.
And because it was partly to do with Halloween, they did change their tour to be a little bit more spooky. But Lancaster Castle is an amazing place, and obviously it is a great part of the Lancashire Witch Trial.
Yeah.
So if you go into many of the rooms, you may sense quite an ominous feeling in a few of the rooms. There's one room where apparently they still have a large wooden chair that they used to put people in and chain them to, where they were being sentenced. Apparently that chair is still in the room. Some who sit in it, they're not very comfortable.
Right.
So
Okay.
there's one or two rooms, and if you get into the cells, you'll definitely feel not very happy.
No.
You could become quite depressed in there as well.
Yeah. Because they've only just opened it up to paranormal events, haven't they? I think it was this year or late last year they decided to do them.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me that more and more groups and individuals as well try to get in there. It is a fantastic place.
Yeah.
You'll definitely enjoy it.
Good. I'm glad about that.
What you experience as well.
No, so I've got Chris here. He's going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Or he wants to talk to you about something anyway. So bear with us.
Hey Steve, how are you doing, my friend? Are you all right?
Very well, Chris. Are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Good.
Not too bad. Just listening there. I to you. There with me. Can you hear me there?
You're fine.
Brilliant stuff. Get this microphone for it. About your Pendle Witches, I made a videopedia. That's what I made. Videopedias on the Pendle Witches and things like that. I find it a very, very interesting subject. And,
Yeah.
Things like that. Have you ever come across anything up there? You think on paranormal level or supernatural style?
It's a difficult place because it very much is a tourist attraction. A lot of people go up there hoping to experience things, but I think if you come further down Pendle and you go to some of the areas where the witches lived, you'll notice some of those things. Our, of course, is still partly there. So I think those are the areas that you should go to as well as Pendle Hill itself.
Right. We're going up there actually. I mean, we've been there a few times, and a few of us are going up there to stay. There's a little place called the Pendle Inn. You're probably aware of it.
Know it very well.
Yeah, it's a lovely brew up there as well. Is it Pendle's best bitter there?
Yeah.
So we're going up there, staying in the cottages, and maybe have a look around up there and see what goes on. But just quickly back to Blackpool, what you was talking about, earlier. You've done obviously Blackpool Tower, and you've done the Pleasure Beach and things like that. What type of things do you think you may have experienced? Let's say in the Blackpool Tower, because I know there's many reports of strange things going on at Blackpool Tower. But have you actually experienced anything or seen anything yourself in there?
I've seen a few things. And many of the stories that are in the book or that I tell about Blackpool Tower.
Yeah.
From my experiences as well. But on the first level, the balcony level of the Blackpool Tower, that is where there is someone. There's definitely a spirit being that will appear there every now and again. He just tends to stand and watch. I do remember going back to have a look at that area because someone who used to be a night security guard there started telling the stories about this man that used to be seen on the first floor balcony.
On the first floor balcony?
First floor balcony in the tower, to the ballroom. And he saw him quite a few times. And he got quite nervous and because of what he had seen and what he had experienced. He actually left. So he told me that story a few years ago, and I wanted to go in and see what I could experience. So I did go in. I didn't experience anything quite a number of times. I went in, but then, I did see something. A few people with me saw the same thing. We couldn't logically explain it, and many other people since have seen the same thing. So there must be something in it.
Do you tend to find that maybe when you go into places like this, that many people who are with you may experience things that are very similar to previous reports from, say, other organisations from years back or something like that, where reports of happenings and hauntings are out there that people actually experience, and maybe people who are unaware of the reportings themselves, but suddenly come up with, a similar type of experience that sort of gives its credence to the credibility to the reports themselves.
Definitely, that does happen a lot.
Mm.
There are people that obviously hear a lot of the reports that are out there. They follow a lot, especially on Facebook and social networking now and Twitter. A lot of the groups and societies put their findings out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do know what is going on before they go in.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do go in looking for that experience. But there are still a lot of people that will go in and they know nothing about previous reports. But when they tell you what they've experienced, you sort of make a note of it and you do a bit of research online, find out if other people are experiencing these. And that happens a lot.
Yeah, it tends to give their own experiences and some credibility if they're going round and they're experiencing. I mean, everybody's experience is unique to themselves, isn't it? And if they can find some form of evidential backup for themselves, it gives it gives it more credentials to them.
I explain it in a way whenever I do the ghost walks or whenever I do ghost hunts, if I'm passing on a story. The stories are not made up; they're not fairy tales. But if they're not all my experiences, which you've made they're not, there's one or two that are just purely my experiences. But if somebody tells me a story, I'll probably go home, make a note of that story.
Yeah.
If I hear that same story identical, I hear that story maybe 25, 30 times, then I would consider passing that story on after I've investigated it as well. So absolutely, for people to go in and report back on something that somebody else has already said has happened, it definitely gives credence to what they have said, and that's what we need. We need more proof. We need that proof. And the more people that do experience the same thing, that will help us.
Exactly. No, I fully agree with you there. I mean, it makes it all interesting indeed, and getting, like you said, getting the proof and the evidence out there. That's exactly what's needed. You're giving people that evidence. But just one more question for you, Steve, before I pass you back to Suzanne, if I may. While you're conducting your ghost tours and ghost walks, do you find that people seem to, obviously you're telling the spooky tales of Blackpool and the areas, but do you actually find that people on the tours themselves are actually gaining experiences of a paranormal nature?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. When I'm, if it's a walk and I'm just telling you stories, a lot of the areas that I go to are public areas. They're not all in buildings, so they don't have to pay an entrance fee.
Yeah.
For example, if I'm telling a story about a theatre, they would have to pay to go in to see a show, to go into that theatre, more than likely. But a lot of the areas that I talk about are outside. Anyone can go to them. So I do get emails coming back or messages through Facebook after they've been on a walk. They've heard a story, they've gone to that area to see if they can experience anything. And I get a lot of stories coming back from people confirming what I have already passed on, which of course has been confirmed by me for other people. So absolutely, people will come back time and time again and say, yeah, you're quite right about that area.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that's fantastic, and it gives people obviously that insight. I mean, you might have people that come from Blackpool maybe, and they don't know the paranormal nature of such, but people obviously from the outside who just come along for obviously the thrills what Blackpool gives to people, and then it's an extra insight in them, which for them people, which is fantastic. They can go away back to wherever town they've come from with a complete different insight into Blackpool. But
absolutely, it's another way of finding out about Blackpool. When I do the ghost walks, I do give history, heritage, and hauntings.
Yeah,
that's my little subtitle. So they learn a bit about Blackpool, how it's come to be in existence, how it's grown into what it is now.
Yeah.
Of course, I like to tell them the haunted heritage as well, and they can go off and hopefully experience that themselves, or at least investigate.
Yeah, well, you do a fantastic job, sir, may I add. But I was going to pass you back to Suzanne, and I appreciate you taking the time to speak to me, Steve. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hiya, Stephen.
Hello again.
Hello. Right, just out of curiosity, what solid evidence have you gathered over the years with your investigations?
Mostly, it will be photographs or video.
Right.
If people go on to the Supernatural Events Facebook page, there's one or two very strange images on there. One that was taken at North Pier, one that was taken at Blackpool Zoo. Two of my favourite locations.
Yeah.
I think actually I only posted them a few weeks ago, so they won't have to scroll through many photographs. And they will actually see something very bizarre that's still being investigated, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That took place in the North Pier. It's a photograph that was taken from the back of the auditorium towards the stage, where I have got my little box of tricks with pendulums, dowsing rods, EMF meters, and so on that I give out to people to use on the event. And next to me, there is something that many people describe as an angel.
Yeah.
It can only be described as an angel. It actually looks like an angel, as many people would imagine it. Their arms crossed, and you can actually see what looks like wings. But also, on the other side of me, a bit further back, there's another figure that looks like it could be a person, but it's a mist more than a person.
Yeah.
See the other people in the photograph. The lights were on, so there was no long exposure on the photograph. There was no movement going on, and that is one of the best pieces of evidence that there is something strange. I can't say exactly what it is. I've got my opinion, other people have theirs. But that's the sort of proof that I look for. The one that was taken at Blackpool Zoo was taken on a ghost hunt. It was in one of the original hangars from the days of it being the aerodrome. And there's definitely a mist there.
Yeah.
And we know it wasn't cold, so it's not breath. It's the first thing I always think of. If it's a little bit cold, take a photograph and there's a mist. Is it breath showing up? And we knew it wasn't because we took a few photographs straight afterwards to try and recreate this image. And we can't figure that one out as well. And of course, people will believe that this mist is a manifestation of a spirit being. So the two photographers as well, I know them very well, Peter and Mark, who took those photographs. And we just cannot figure out what they could be, apart from something that is paranormal.
I have to have a look at that. Now,
There have been events that I've brought in psychics and mediums,
yeah.
and they have been able to give a lot of evidence based on the history of the location or things that have happened that they shouldn't have known about, and I can't figure out how they could have known about. So I really believe that there is something going on, and I really do believe in the paranormal. And the venues that I take people into, there is something going on in those. And the way I look at it is, I want those people to come with me,
Yeah.
to tell me their experiences, so that we can all learn, and hopefully get to the bottom of what it is.
Now, as I said to you before, when I first spoke to you when you was actually part of the Grand Theatre, are there any places that you're involved in now which, for instance, I could approach you to book?
Well, to be honest, I usually just have events held at Blackpool North Pier,
Yeah.
Blackpool Zoo, and also Lather Pavilion in Lytham. So those
Right.
are the three locations that I use. But I know that one of the places, well, two of the places that you wanted to go into, you can actually go into now. And that is Blackpool Tower, also the Pleasure Beach.
Blackpool where? Blackpool where?
Sorry?
Say that again.
Blackpool Tower
Blackpool Tower.
and the Pleasure Beach.
Right, okay.
They now have had other groups go in
Yeah.
as well in recent months. I think it's just been this year.
I think, if I remember rightly, the Pleasure Beach is quite expensive, isn't it?
It is.
Is the tower roughly the same price?
Well, I don't have a price
Right.
for them,
No.
but I do know that they have worked with other groups.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on dates coming.
Right, so when it comes to the North Pier, I take it they don't allow paranormal groups?
What we'll do is we'll have a little chat.
Yeah.
Because when I left
Yeah.
Later, I went to work for North Pier.
Oh,
So
great.
until last year, I actually did work at North Pier, but I still take ghost hunts and so on in there as supernatural events.
Okay.
But yeah, we can have a chat about that, of course.
Okay then, Stephen. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
As I say, there isn't just Blackpool that you're dealing with at the moment, is it? There's I believe there's another book out, if I remember rightly.
I'm in the middle of writing Haunted Lytham St Anne's.
Okay.
Now, Lytham St Anne's, it's really two towns, St Anne's and Lytham, and they are within half an hour's drive of Blackpool. They still form part of the Fylde coast, and there's a bit of a crossover, obviously, with tourism and visitors coming to the area.
Yeah.
But they have a very different history. The history of Blackpool is very much its entertainment and its leisure and its tourism.
Yeah.
Lytham is very different with its history and heritage. So I know quite a lot of its heritage. I know quite a lot of its haunted buildings. And a lot of people, especially since writing the first book, have sent me their stories and what they've experienced.
Yeah.
And I have gone into a few places to investigate myself. But at the moment, I am writing that, and hopefully that's due to come out either in 2015 or 16.
So, has Lytham St Anne's decided to open up to the paranormal world?
Well, it's a little.
A little.
A little. A lot of people that will go on the events that I hold in those areas do them outside as well. So, and it's the same with Blackpool. People will travel to go to the events. Same way as I have travelled over to Derby, go to Derby Jail, for example. And people will travel all over, as long as there are interesting reports that they really want to follow up on. So they come from all over.
I see. And how much is it for your ghost tours, by the way?
The ghost tours, I do slightly different events. There's a ghost tour, which is a 2-hour tour.
Yeah.
That is where I take people into a location, and they get the chance to do almost a mini investigation, and I tell them the stories as we wander around the building.
Yeah.
Then there's the ghost hunts, which are the overnight investigations. They are £25.
Right.
Sorry, the tours are only £10.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. The ghost walks are where I take people. We don't go into the buildings, we stay outside. And there's a different price again for that. It's £5 for adults, £3.50 for under 14s, and a family of 4, £15.
Right, that sounds reasonable, doesn't it?
I like to make everything that I do affordable.
Yeah. Me and Steve will have to pop up one day.
Yeah.
So, and I'll let you be my VIP guest.
Oh, that's very grateful of you. Thank you. Now, you're spreading your wings a bit now, aren't you? You're a qualified aromatherapist, a holistic massage therapist, and a Reiki master and teacher.
Yeah.
So you're coming out with, and you've done a Fylde Coast therapies.
Yeah. Going back a few years, I trained in Reiki, and that was more about myself.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to help others. So over the next few years, I went through Reiki level 2.
Yeah.
And recently, I received my Reiki master and teacher training. So I wanted to promote that, and I wanted to do more with Reiki.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was drawn to other types of holistic therapies and complementary therapies. So again, very recently, I am now a holistic massage therapist and aromatherapist, and I hopefully, in the next few weeks, will become a past life therapist as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
a lot
nice
of people are into
that. I'd love to get a past life live on the show. That would be good.
It would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
It would,
I don't
wouldn't
think
it?
it's ever been done before anywhere.
No, I don't think it has. And Steve's always wondered what it would be like if he had a past life regression. So So we've got somebody who is willing to do so.
I was going to say we've got a volunteer, but we've got a victim then.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, we got a victim. So if you ever fancy popping to Manchester anytime.
You're not that far away.
No, you're not.
Far away.
So no, as I say, you've got all these this stuff under your belt. How do you get time for it all?
I've no idea. I think I must be a workaholic. I do find it very hard to sit still.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I do, obviously, the ghost walks themselves, they're half in the evening, so I've still got all day to do things. But yeah, it's just a matter of I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And I've found a path that I'm enjoying, a path that I want to be on. I'm also a PR marketing consultant, which is what I used to do at the Grand Theatre and also at North Pier. So I just keep working. I enjoy it.
Right. And do you have any psychic abilities yourself?
I think we all have.
Yes.
An answer to that one. I really do believe we all have. Just some people more so. Whether it's gut feeling, intuition, we are all psychic, so we all are able to sense, pick up on things. Just some people are more in tune. So yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah, yeah. Now I've put the supernatural events link on the chat room for you.
Oh.
So they can find out more about your tours there, can't they?
Yeah.
And also, I believe you've got one that's blackpoolghostwalks.co.uk.
Yeah, it's basically another entrance into the website, but it takes you straight to the Ghost Walk pages.
Right.
So that people can get there directly rather than going around the houses.
Yeah. So we'll advertise all that for you, and don't forget, if you've got anything else you want us to let us know about, and let us know when your new book's out. And,
I will.
We'll let everybody know.
Thank you.
Okay. It's been great having you on, Stephen, at last. And as I say, me and Steve will have to pop up to Blackpool and meet you sometime.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. We're long overdue a sit down and have a coffee.
We are. We very much are. So, as I say, thank you very much. Your nerves wasn't showing.
Not at all. But I've got a little bit of information for you.
Go on.
Somebody earlier was talking about Destination Truth.
Yeah.
Joyce Gates and the show no longer existing.
That's the rumour.
Yeah. If you pop over onto his Facebook page,
yeah,
you will find out that yes, that has happened, but another company has picked up on the show, and there will be another show with him, but it is going to be called something different. Edition Unknown. So it's a different channel have picked him up, so we won't be without Destination Truth. Just be renamed different channel.
Good. Just the last question. Have you ever been to Morecambe Winter Gardens?
I have. I've been a couple of times. I do something called the Ghost Coach, where I take people from this area out to other places, and I've been to Morecambe Winter Gardens on 2 occasions.
So we're due back there in November, so that should be good.
Oh, I might pop along to that one.
Why not? You'll be welcome.
It is excellent, but I've always ended up not so much part of the investigation as I hosted. I'm looking after everyone else, so I might come and annoy you.
Yeah, why not? Why not? That's the 8th of November if you fancy it.
Oh, fabulous.
Okay, and it's actually will be our 7th year as UK Shadow Seekers, so it's quite a celebration that night as well.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, keep in contact with us, Stephen.
I certainly will.
You know where we are. Thanks again for your time on the show.
Very welcome.
All right, and we hope to get you back on again sometime in the future.
You just let me know. I will come along. Do not worry.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was Stephen Mercer. As known as Red Goose said, was it Blackpool's Master of the Macabre? And as he said there, it was our friend Jebby that gave him that name, Steve.
There you go.
Small world. And
it is indeed.
Did you get what he said about Destination Truth? Did you hear that?
I did.
Yes.
It's good to know it's coming back.
Yes, and in another form. So
yes. On the subject of ghost walks.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the one we did when we was in Cornwall?
Yes.
Was it St Ives we went to?
We did one in St Ives, but we also did one in Penzance.
It was when we walked through the town.
Was it
And we
Penzance?
finished up on the beach area, looking up at the hill.
I think that was Penzance.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, whichever destination it was, when we were going round, he pointed out the opera house, and says about people being seen. And I looked up there, and I saw two guys up there in overalls, and I described them to him, and apparently I'd just seen the ghost. Because my description matched what he knew of them.
They've been seen before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
I
So
remember
that was quite interesting.
So
I like ghost walks as well. I mean, I've been to a couple in York,
yeah.
and there's something to be said for them. I think they're
Have you
interesting.
guys seen the UFO
Excuse
thing?
me, she was talking.
I do beg to happen.
It's okay. It's okay.
What was you saying, Emma?
I was just saying I've been to a couple of ghost walks in York, and they were great because you get to learn all the stories, and some people might poo-poo them because they're not scientific and it's not proper investigate. But it's just great just to walk around and hear the stories you wouldn't normally hear.
You used to do them, didn't you, Chris? He says, picking up his mic.
Yes, we Stockport here for about 5 years. We used to do,
So
every week I think they were, or something like that. So
Around Stockport.
around Stockport
Yeah.
Market and the
Old
areas
Stockport.
for charity. We give quite a lot for charity. Baby monitors, Stepping Hill, and cancer care, Beechwood, and and all them type of thing. But we brought them to a stop actually because
most places I
changed
think
now.
are doing them now, aren't
Yeah,
they?
there's one in Manchester, isn't there?
Yeah.
Flecky Bennett.
Yeah, I've yet to go on that one.
Oh, you want to? It's
been going for a
fantastic.
bit,
It's
hasn't
good,
it,
that one.
Pardon?
It's been going a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't he do the tunnels as well?
Yes, he does. Yeah. Flecky Bennett is great, isn't he, Steve?
Yeah, he makes a show of it.
We'd love to get him on the show, and unfortunately, because he does stuff on a Sunday, but then again, we may be able to do a pre-record.
Yeah.
So
That'd be
we'll have
good
to
one.
contact
He
him.
also does the cemetery in London.
Yes, Highgate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he does that as well. So it's he's really got into it in a big way.
As I was saying, have you guys seen the UFO thing I put on earlier?
I saw it, but I didn't play it.
You
No,
didn't play it?
I've not seen it.
That's too good to be believable.
It's what appears to be a flying saucer being chased by two jets.
At very slow speed.
They didn't seem to be going very fast. did
No.
they?
It's like they're just being casually escorted. It's like that was like you was guiding an old lady across the road type of thing. It's too. I can't see that being real.
Which makes you wonder whether obviously the video could have been
Doctored.
tampered with, but also could it be that it was a government test flight?
It was a very low altitude as well.
It was, yes.
Very low
Conspiracy
altitude.
theory, huh?
You've not seen it?
No, I haven't seen
If it was
it.
a government test flight,
I will play it now just for you,
I mean that's
Hang
very
on, let
low.
me put
that.
my glasses down.
and I will put it on full screen. For
It's
you.
a man walking along towards a river. Why he's filming the floor, I don't know. And then they go
Pretty
across.
good actually.
It could actually be a training thing because it's so low.
But then they're doing it so low, they're going to know that people are going to witness
Yeah.
things like that, and it's going to hit. That's going to go all over the headlines. So
Oh yeah.
if it was a secret military operation,
Yeah.
It
They're
does seem
doing
to
a
be
good job of advertising
it does
it.
seem to be at treetop level, doesn't it?
So where is this supposed to have been taken?
It
This is the
it
question.
doesn't actually say.
Does it not?
They're saying it's possibly a black government project, but it doesn't actually say. I'm assuming it's in the US, judging by the terrain.
Right. So.
well, you wouldn't exactly be over Stockport town centre or anything.
No.
They never are they?
So.
Never are.
Well, Steve Graham posted on there and said, hold on, I better check this before I read it. What was he originally recording when he noticed this aircraft? Where was it recorded at what time? And was it recorded? Was he alone when he recorded it? He's not really telling us much, is he, this guy?
No, he's not. It's just showing us it. So we have no extra information.
No, this is it. So
And it's only a small UFO as well compared to the size of the jets.
yeah, because you think about I know some of them are supposed to be quite small and blah de blah de
Like
blah.
a one-man craft or something, because them
You
jets
know.
are, what are they, one or two men
Yeah,
craft?
yeah. One of them Independence Day little fighters.
Like,
Yeah.
batteries not included. You know, like when
So-
they,
That was a great film. That.
yeah, must be little min, you know, if that was a fully occupied craft by, you know, how many civilized, you know, alien occupants, it must be minute, you know, sitting in
Yes.
that.
Thank you, Viscount, there for putting the FB page on.
But as I say, it's there are quite a few comments
Yeah.
on the original post.
Yeah, I've also put that picture from Morecambe on there as well for people to look at.
What picture is that?
The tube, as they call it.
But he's got his bikini on, his mankini.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Careful. Yeah, if you have a look at that link that I've just put on there, it does actually have a load of comments and what have you as well. So maybe you can work out from there what it could be.
Fake, says Andy.
He's shouting at me, fake,
Yes.
with exclamation marks.
well, the spooky picture above is not fake.
But in reality, every video that we'd ever see, we'd always look at it and say it's fake, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Whether it's real or not, or fake, we would always say it's fake.
The problem with most videos is you don't get the information that come with it. You don't get time,
No.
date, where, when,
No, this is it.
how.
No.
We don't get any of that kind of information. We just get,
Yeah.
oh, look at this, I captured it on my phone.
There's
Yeah.
too many videos out there that look so real, and you think, how the hell have they done that? They turn out to be fake. So you can't believe any videos now. So and people be swearing
That's
by,
the
well, it's
annoying
true.
thing about it, though, isn't it? It's,
Same with
you know,
photos.
people want proof, but there's so many fake out there. You know what I mean?
And they're getting better at making them. It's
Yeah.
all this CGI.
And everyone's got it at
animation.
the fingertips. Everyone's got the software these
Yeah.
days. It's so
Yeah.
easy to
But
do.
they look so good.
Yeah.
And
They
you
do.
think, no way, that can't be fake. But then it turns out to be fake. So when the genuine article comes, if it ever comes, you just laugh at it and think, yeah, right, whatever.
Yeah.
What a good job you've done of that. So we'd never accept it.
We'll never get evidence, photographic or video.
Yeah,
Never.
the only thing we're going to get when we do get the genuine thing is that we will be given the information with it.
Yeah.
We'll be getting the where, when, how, and the rest of it.
The only way you'd know
What
it
it was
genuine.
taken on and everything else.
Yeah.
We'll get all that information because people are going to want you to believe it.
The only way you'd know that if it was genuine is if you took it yourself. Then you would know it was genuine.
Yeah.
Nobody else would, but you would. You know, and that's all that matters, really.
It's just, we're saying this about some of these clips that come along. It's the same with television, really. You know, you watch these paranormal activity programs. You know what I mean?
Mankind
we
is
all
our
know,
worst nightmare. We're our
yeah,
worst enemy.
We all know. We all like watching it, but we all know with CGI and everything else and special effects, they can do that. You know what I mean? They can make these
on a small budget.
And Andy's put a point. I made a point there. He said it's position relationship looks static. All three objects are added at the same time. They do seem to be perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but people don't fly like that.
No, but you know what I'm saying, though? You know, it's the same.
There's always a up and down or a slight movement, and there's none on that. It's dead static.
I didn't actually see any trail from the jets
No.
either.
No, I didn't.
But as I say, you know, with these programs that we're watching on television, you know, and we see something, oh, how do we know that it's not fake? You know what I mean? You watch a ghost story, you know, a horror film, you know what I mean, with ghosts in it, and they look so real. How do we know that it's not the same sort of graphics that's being used for a paranormal information film?
But that's what people and
having
technology.
said that, how do we know if it's not actually part of the main story that they haven't captured a ghost on camera?
I'm going to make a ghost
Like
with real ghosts.
like the 3 Men and the Baby one that keeps popping up every
Yeah, but
so
that
often.
was a fake as
Wasn't
well.
that a cardboard cutout?
Yeah,
It's
it
supposed to
was.
be
Yeah.
the director's son, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, but it wasn't done deliberate. It was just there, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but everyone thought it was
Word
the
of mouth
ghost.
thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but these things get captured all the time
Yeah.
in the background of things, and because you're so busy watching the main action,
Yeah.
you miss it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Steve Graham, the Viscount here, he's put on here, we're so desperate to find the unknown that we are destroying the whole concept. And
It's
I
true.
agree, we are.
People and technology
Yeah.
ruin. We're our own undoing.
Yeah.
We're our own. You know, we're never going to get anywhere like that because we go forward,
Yeah.
and then we hold ourselves back, because the more we produce technology and the more we decide we can do these things, we advance, the more somebody else pulls it back by doing something like that stupid in the first place to try it out.
Well, this
And
is
that
it.
we're left. You take one step forward, it's two steps back.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much we're advancing, we're not technically advancing in that scenario.
So when it comes to paranormal investigations with groups and things like that, it's basically for our own personal belief.
we still have to rely on. I've just felt this.
Yeah.
I've just heard that, and I've just. But again, we can't prove it.
And then you've got
PJ says it's like the Nottingley fairies.
Yeah, this is it.
Is it Cotton? Cottonley.
They was out for years and years and years, and everybody thought that they were
He said
real.
Nottingley.
It's Cottonley, I think.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the one where was the two girls or something,
Yeah.
two sisters,
They were
and they
cutouts.
carried, and they was tested.
Yeah.
The pictures was tested,
Yeah.
and they could find nothing to say that they were
No.
fake.
Because
and
they
they
were
went
physically
all
there.
through the years, and on one of them's deathbed or something like that, they decided to come and clean, and everybody believed it.
Yeah.
All them
And
years.
that was just a bit of paper, and
That
that's
destroyed
why
everybody's illusions and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
You know, so
Like Andy said, we're clutching at straws.
Well, this
to
is
try and
it.
get the evidence.
yeah.
When
But
did
this
you?
is why I say that most of the investigations out there, you're doing it for your own thing. Yes, did I feel that? Did I get this? Did I get that? You have to make your own judgment. If you can take that personal experience away from you, away with you rather, then that's good. You know, but you can't turn around and say, "Oh, look, this is what we got."
If you went live on stage and you came in contact with a paranormal entity, became good friends, and said, "Look, can you prove yourself to the world?" And the entity said, "Yeah, go on, and what we're doing." And you said, "I'm going to take you on stage in front of everybody. I want you to appear and introduce yourself." People still think it was an hologram.
Yeah.
It won't be accepted as real.
Michael Jackson did a concert long
It
ago.
never will.
As a
I
hologram.
was speaking to Elvis Presley the other day, and he said he'd love to try and do it. He just hasn't got the energy these days. So
Christopher.
but it'll never be accepted.
He's on my wall.
Remember the Green Children?
Yes.
So at Andy 707, he said, by the way, the anatomy of melancholy, which was mentioned in the
Observations.
in the observation from the website that you mentioned, Emma.
Yeah.
He said it's got 1,036 pages and no index, and he can't find Green Children.
And the Viscount said that Arthur Conan Doyle confirmed it was real. I'm assuming he was on about
the
fairies.
Yeah.
And he was the founder of mediumship and spirituality in this country. That speaks volumes. Does really, doesn't it? When you get people like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But his son died in the war, so he was searching for comfort that his son was still alive. Wasn't he? So
PJ said same with the brick picture from Borley.
Yes, that was a fake as well.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know at the moment, there's only one picture that hasn't been debunked,
What's that?
and that's the brown lady on the stairs.
Of Raynham Hall.
Yeah, and it's the one place that say they're not haunted.
Yeah.
And it's the only picture that hasn't been debunked yet.
I like that one. Oh God, I can't remember the name
one
of
with
it
the
now.
monk,
The
wasn't
army
it, as well?
one. There's squadron from the Second World War maybe, and one of their fellow soldiers had died the day before, and they did a group photograph, and just behind in the back row you can see the soldier.
It's called Fred.
Is that
Fred Thingamabob.
Yeah, I can't remember. And it's him. You can see him really transparent.
And his head's in a circle, and he's on the
Yeah,
back row.
It's a Navy shot. PJ said. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like
you
that
see it
one.
quite often. He's circle with his elbow.
Yeah, there's another one similar where there's two people who are overboard in the sea.
Yeah.
But then that was turned out apparently to be fake as well.
Well, it's like the sun camouflage.
Yes.
There's stories like that.
Stan Ridgway.
Yeah.
There's stories out there from army personnel. There's absolutely loads of them where that has actually happened to them.
So what you got to think of before all this, because with Stan Ridgway and sung the song Camouflage back in that day in the 80s, there wouldn't have been as the technology there's what there is today to create fakes, and as we're accepting these things today.
Yeah.
So where does the inspiration come from? It comes from stories and based, I guess, on people's real experiences and things, or but Hollywood's always been all right, but it's more progressed today. But I think a lot of things are based on experiences.
I mean, I don't know if Stan's song was actually based on
true event.
The true event or not. But there are stories like that all over the place where people have been saved by soldiers that are already dead.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That big Marine
So-
just caught it like a fly.
Yeah. So, but
Good song, that. I love that song,
It is a good song.
But I don't know whether it was, like you say, we don't know whether
You're going to sing it for us, Sue?
No, I'm not going to sing.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it would be nice to know if it was actually based on an actual event.
It would be.
That would be another song that's before Emma's time.
Yeah.
Where we're going to be in 50 years' time from now, as things have
You'll
evolved.
have to get Chris to play it for you when you get home.
I'll sing it for you if you want. I was a PFC on a search patrol. No, I won't do it. I was hunting Charlie down. I was in the jungle, warriors of 65. My weapon jammed and I got stuck way out and all alone. And I could hear the enemy creeping up close outside. Just then I heard a twig snap. No, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I've heard that song.
You have sung it.
Yeah.
You have heard it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
I'm open for auditions and things like that, for parties and
Weddings.
stuff. Weddings and ghost walk.
Children's parties and weddings.
Yeah.
children's parties and weddings, I don't know.
Yeah, Viscount said, please, my ears can't take much more.
Oh, I've got another verse. Whoa, camouflage.
Enough. So, I don't know. I'm
Right,
trying to find out whether it is actually or
Mr.
not.
Chris.
So.
Yes, sir.
What are you and Club Zero up to next?
We'll find that afterwards.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that because I've got to do the events.
It's got to do the event.
Yes.
Okay.
So that'll roll round nicely after the event.
The events. That's my nicotine level go.
That does. Your nicotine
I love
level
this
come
time of
up.
the night. It's great.
So, but as I say, I'm going to do the events.
I will turn the mic off then.
Yay! You can both go out together if you want.
Yes, I do know that song. Over the hills and very far away. Gary Moore's good version of it.
I don't know. So next time you're in a jungle fight and you feel a presence near or hear a voice that in your mind will lie, just be thankful that you're not alone and you've got some company from a big Marine the boys called Camouflage.
Well, he led me in a green tent on the right. He said, you might be travelling truth, son, but this here's Camouflage and it's been there since he passed away. Like, in fact, he's been there all week long.
So, but is it a true song? So perhaps somebody else can Google it to find out if it is a true song or not.
There's loads of there's loads of songs out there based on paranormal experiences and strange stories, isn't there, when you think about? And then you've got these other ones that, when played backwards, are satanic verses and all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Judas Priest was in court and all that about it, weren't they, years ago.
Yes.
So
yeah, he blessed me once or twice.
But
what are we on here? Karaoke?
Well, apparently, according to this, yes, the lyrics of the song are true. That's all it's saying. So.
What do you call it? Karaghosty?
Karaghosty.
Yeah. Or spooky-okey.
Right, let's get these events out of the way.
Off you pop.
Okay. So see you in a bit.
The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store is a one-stop shop for all of your ghost hunting gadgetry needs. Run by ghost hunters for ghost hunters, the shop is filled with all of the latest in investigation equipment, shipped in from all around the world, from high-quality digital dictaphones to EMF pumps, infrared illuminators to laser grid pens, CCTV equipment to data loggers. All of our equipment has already been imported, so you can buy it safe in the knowledge that there will be no hidden costs. And with our postage promise, you'll never pay more than the actual postage price. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.
We've got all the news right here. Don't go away.
Fed up of wading through the activities and events that other advertisers include? Find just what you're looking for at paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. And first up, on the 12th of July, we have Lancaster Castle Prison, a hilltop location looking down over the city centre. Lancaster Castle is a Grade 1 listed building that sits on the site of three successive former forts, Roman at that. One of the most famous events to take place at Lancaster Castle over 400 years ago was the Pendle Witch trials. With access to the prison wings, hanging yard and the witches' dungeons, this is not an event to be missed. So join us at UK Shadow Seekers at this most wanted location as we give you the chance to experience the unknown. You won't be disappointed. Visit www.shadowseekers.co.uk. Blackpool Ghost Walk starts on the 18th of July through to the 26th of October. Join haunted Blackpool author and founder of supernatural events Stephen Mercer on a Blackpool Ghost Walk this summer, and he will take you to some of the Blackpool's most famous and of course most haunted locations, where you will hear tales of unearthly events to make you question everything you thought you believed. The spooky stroll begins at the front of the North Pier, next to the ice cream and candy floss store beneath the LED advertising screen at 7:30 p.m. Lasts approximately 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours, and fully accessible to all family and family friendly. Visit www.blackpoolghostwalks.co.uk for more details. On the 19th of July, the Spirit House, 85 High Street, Evesham, Worcester. Join Portier South West on an investigation into this building's spectacular activity. Built with stones from Evesham Abbey in 1544, this location is renowned for its poltergeist activity and dark spirits. Dare you do a lone vigil in the cellar where a dark spirit is said to reside, or sit in the chair which has been reported to be thrown across the room? For details, prices and other events, check out their website at www.psw-paranormal.wix.com/PSW Paranormal. 25th of July, Station Hotel Dudley. This event includes a chance to stay the rest of the night in the very haunted room 217, if you dare. As seen on TV's Most Haunted, the Station Hotel needs no real introduction. This venue is always popular and sells out fast. Dating from 1898, it is undoubtedly one of the most haunted hotels in the UK, with a long history of ghostly happenings and tales of murder, suicide and adultery. This sinister and spooky hotel is a must for any ghost hunter. For more details, go to www.personalparanormal.co.uk. Also on the 26th of July, Yesterday's World in Battle, East Sussex. Built in 1410 for the accountant of Battle Abbey, the original building at Yesterday's World is over 600 years old and has many reports of unexplained occurrences. Over time, it was converted into two separate dwellings, number 89 and 90, which have been home to a long list of occupants over the years, including a boarding school, a dentist surgery, as well as private dwellings. For one night, you can have the chance to try and experience these things for yourself. For more information, visit www.the-pigs.co.uk. Also on the 26th of July, Manchester Museum of Transport. From the moment you walk through the doors, it's like stepping back into another era. The tea room at the museum is a time capsule that recreates the atmosphere and the ambience of bus stations buffets from a bygone age. With its 1950s decor, you could almost believe you really had stepped back in time. There have been reports of unexplained sightings on and around these old buses, so join Club Zero Paranormal and experience this unique venue in the heart of Manchester. For more information, visit www.clubzeroparanormal.co.uk. Now, do you fancy an evening of mediumship with one of the country's most well-known and respected mediums? Derek Akora's 2014 Enlightenment Tour this month will be showing at the Bocking Arts Centre in Braintree and also Holiday Inn in Ellesmere Port. To find out if Derek is appearing near you, check out his website at www.derekakora.com. Or you could see Tony Stockwell live on tour. Over the next few weeks, his shows will be in Aylesbury and Dartford. Also, there is a 3-day seminar with Tony and James Van Prague in Edinburgh at the Arthur Conan Doyle Centre. He's also doing a mediumship evening with Mr. Van Prague, and there's also a 3-day workshop at Briars Hall Hotel, 25 Latham near Ormskirk in Lancashire, which is also doing a mediumship evening. For more information, visit Tony's website at www.tonystockwell.com and click events. And lastly, Colin Fry's Voices from Heaven Tour 2014. Join Living TV's psychic medium Colin Fry for an evening of clairvoyance. Colin continues his countrywide tour of the UK, where he'll be appearing in Huddersfield, Fareham, Verwood, Dorset, Telford and Great Yarmouth. For more information, visit www.colinfry.co.uk. So check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events, available now. ParanormalEventsForYou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details. ParanormalEventsForYou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Now, I must put a disclaimer here, just to let you know that if you decide to advertise on Paranormal Events for You, we only support quality events. If at any time a company attracts negative press through their own actions and fail to immediately deal with the situation in favour of the greater mass, i.e. the public, then ParanormalEvents.com reserves the right to remove any mention of that company from their publications.
And on that note, you may have noticed that if you've been listening over the last 2 or 3 weeks, that there are some places that have been removed from the PEFU. We have been following a situation that hasn't been resolved, and not only has the group disappeared and the website gone,
refunds are not forthcoming.
Refunds have not been forthcoming, so we have removed all their invest in the interest of trying to protect the public, because they were still up until a week ago, weren't they?
They were still up.
They were still up
until a couple of days ago.
We took them off PEFU, and when we checked back to see if anything had changed, the site had disappeared.
Yes, and may I just say this is a company, not a not-for-profit group.
Yes, it is a company, and if you have heard of who it is out there, please remember this is not the original owners.
No. So, okay. So,
and no, we won't name and shame, because that's not being friendly.
Shall I just put it in the chat room?
Yeah, you can put it in the chat room if you wish.
Okay.
But I'm not going to broadcast it.
No. So it's a bit sad when things like that happen, isn't it, Chris? Grabs mic.
It is. Inverted commas.
It is though, isn't it? Because it ruins it for the rest of us.
It's not a good thing, is it?
No.
It's definitely not a good thing. But you'd be surprised how things like that lead the path to other people doing it as well. It's you put a bad apple in a cart and it spreads, doesn't it? It can do.
It's a public service, whether you do it for profit or for not profit, and people put their trust in you, and you're faceless. You're on the internet. You're on the internet. They don't know you. They send you a deposit. They send you the form out, and they turn up and they're putting that trust in you. And
well, apparently, this particular company, from what I've seen on certain websites and stuff, forums, somebody who outed them in their local paper actually turned around and said that all the advertisement they'd made for the rest of the year, they hadn't actually booked, because she'd contacted them, and they'd contacted them in the purpose of booking, and they'd been sent the booking forms, but then they had it on their site for people to pay, and people had been paying deposits and stuff, and they hadn't even booked them.
Which is the main reason why we pulled it when we did.
Yeah.
Because we found out that they were advertising events that they hadn't actually booked. And obviously, they're taking money off people for those events.
If organisations, if they're not setting up for the correct reasons of doing it, then why set up in the first place? So, some of them it's just a con to some people.
It is, but these particular people initially were trading on
the original
the original group's good name.
Yeah,
because they were a really good organisation.
So whoever took it over obviously had no idea about the paranormal, the concepts or anything else. They
so
just
basically, just to rectify that, they were ringing up to in the prospects of booking a venue. The venue was sending them the booking form, but this woman had found out that even though they were advertising the fact that they had the event and for people to pay for it, the venue was saying they hadn't actually booked the event or sent the booking form back. So that's basically what was happening.
Yeah.
And it had been done to quite a few venues.
Which is definitely wrong, whichever way you look at it.
Well, it tars everybody else. If people start thinking if this is going to happen within the paranormal world, then we're not going to have these groups in.
It's not the first time it's happened. I know,
it's not,
some of that's done that in the past. It won't be the last time that's happened, but who did it in the past got a bad name and a reputation themselves.
Unfortunately, you're dead right there, Chris, but it paints everybody else with the same brush.
Yeah.
It paints the people that are doing a good job, not only the companies, but the small groups that are out there trying to find the evidence, trying to do a good job on the night.
Which is why you get some venues, which we've come across, that will turn around and say, right, we want £500 deposit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As opposed to the £50 or £100 that
because
you normally ask.
Difference.
Oh, yeah.
It does, because a lot of them were taking the money and just cancelling the venue.
Yeah.
Or finding that they're not getting the people in for that venue.
Yeah.
Because the price is too high or whatever, long time of the year, and just not doing it. And venues are losing money.
Well, I just hope that those that were affected by this company do finally get their money back.
I hope so too.
And I hope it doesn't put them off.
I mean, we know one person that was reporting that they were waiting for a £600 refund.
Yeah,
that wasn't forthcoming.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot of money, that.
Yeah. So and this is what this has all been the fallout, basically. I think since a European investigation they were supposed to have done back in March or April time, and it's just literally gone downhill from there. It snowballed from there.
There was even a hate page on FB about it.
Yeah. There's actually somewhere on FB there is one saying, give us our refunds back.
Still doing what they're doing.
I don't know. As far as I know, they've moved out of
they're out of the UK.
England. They're not in Scotland, or they've moved out of the main Isle of England.
They're off the mainland.
They're off the mainland, and the website, what I've seen, is not up and running anymore.
And
I haven't been either. I'd be hiding my head in shame with all that. So.
From what we've heard, the place they've gone, all the venues and people are getting warned about them before they even started. So
but it's to say it is a shame because
so it's book at your own risk, isn't it?
Yeah, these companies are supposed to be, they're supposed to be the experienced ones, aren't they? They're the ones that it's actually like saying, oh, I'm booking with Pontin sort of thing or something like that, isn't it? It's really, a business that they should adhere to. Us as non-profit groups, we say we're not non-profit, but we've still got to look at it as a business. Because as I've always said, nobody's going to turn around and say, "Oh, it's all right, you're non-profit, so I'm not going to sue you."
And just to qualify, we do actually make a small profit because we have to pay for insurance
so
stuff like that.
You're entitled to get your overheads because you've got a lot to pay. I mean, when people say non-profit, and that's how they see it, as which is it's not non-profit, but obviously they've got to look at the situation of how much you actually have to pump into things to you've got to be able to pay for everything to get it done.
If anybody asks me what we mean by non-profit, it means that nobody gets paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody takes
Nobody
a
gets
wage.
paid.
Everything that goes into the club either goes towards more venues,
which most of the time,
deposits.
Which is most of the time deposits, because obviously,
and repair.
And you can't.
You got to get equipment. You got to pay for your website to be done. And most importantly, is your insurance, and that's not cheap.
Well, it's like Andy said, therefore there is no profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it all goes
you know.
But
you find you lose more money. Than what
you do.
Comes in.
You do, but some people look at the fact that if you say you're non-profit, you shouldn't make any profit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't take anything more than what you sell the venue for.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take into account all
you're allowed to
operation costs.
Non-profits are allowed
batteries.
Yeah.
You know, you don't think about batteries. I'll just get some more batteries. You know, but the amount of batteries you use, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
We were spending something like 50 quid over a couple of months just on batteries. What with torches and everything else you're putting out and everything else.
Yeah.
And your electricity at home when you're charging everything up overnight, and you've got that many equipment, you got all that.
Yeah.
You got the cases to buy cases. You always end up finding you have to buy leads and wires.
Oh yeah.
Cabling.
That's always
transportation
damaging,
of all this type of thing, and then you got all your paperwork, your printing, your inks, your
don't
emails.
Don't get me started on wires, please.
You get all so much, and it's. I mean,
but you know what I mean? It's just so.
Oh yeah.
It does add up.
When I first started this in this club, you know, I was doing I was doing two jobs at the time, and one of the jobs was I used one for living on, and the other job I had was to fund the club to get it going, you know, and that's why I had to put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds in to get it going, because you got to get everything done, you know, and
you never see it back. You just
you never see it back, you know, and you end up, you know, even the team, you know, you end up paying for things, and the team end up, you're always out of pocket yourself, but. And that's the way it is. So when it's non-profit, it's literally non-profit, but you're giving a service to people, and I suppose your just rewards is knowing that somebody just has, you know, gained a better understanding of situations out there and can put, you know, ideas and theories out there and advance themselves a bit, maybe, you know, because like I said before, bringing the proof in is one thing, but. So I look at it these days now is if you experience nothing, because the chances are you're not going to experience much. No. But we want you to make sure that you've had a damn good time and that you've learned a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, as you go along.
I mean, as Shadow Seekers, when we started, the team all put money in and paid for everything.
Yeah.
We've been in the early years. We were lucky. Everything was getting booked up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we were able to pay everybody their money back.
Yeah.
So now everything belongs to the club.
Yeah.
Nothing belongs to any one person.
But like Andy says, if as a former business owner, he can tell us that profit is only if there's money left over after you've paid everything. Well, I think we're in minus.
Yeah. But having said that, we do have a policy. That if we do have any excessive money at the end, it goes to a local charity.
Yeah.
We've said that all the time. It's I mean, we have done it a couple of times where we've had 50 quid here or there to send off. It doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. No.
Because obviously prices go up.
Yeah.
Your expenses go up, but that's the way we did when we set up. We said that if there was any excessive money coming, that keeping some money obviously for deposits and stuff. So
even that gets hard now, because you got to get a certain amount of people to be able to get the deposits to secure the venue in the first place. And these days, there's that many around doing what they're doing.
No.
Getting the acquired people to fill these
9 times out of 10,
it's difficult.
You're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah,
of course.
You know what I mean? And hoping that Peter gets paid enough to pay Paul. You know what I mean? And so on, and it's like a rock-on effect sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Because I mean, you've got one lot of money coming for one event.
Yeah.
But you've got to use part of that for deposit for the next one.
Yeah.
Because they wanted deposits up front. They can't wait for you to
That's it, isn't it?
get the money in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want a deposit to secure the booking.
Then your
Yeah.
insurance is,
But,
before you know it, that's due again, which is a good
yeah.
a couple of £100.
But touch wood, we've been lucky.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
PJ said, that's why people need to turn up when they book to go on an event. We've had people that have paid deposits, and it's non-refundable.
Yeah, I was
you know what I
around
mean?
non-refundable
Um,
deposit.
and they've not turned up, and they've not contacted me, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. You know, we've never had anyone who's paid full amount and not turned up, unless they've contacted us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had the worst one that happened on that, and it wasn't the lady's fault.
No.
You're nearly out of power there. She'd paid for her event,
Yeah.
and it was actually when we were going to Brancaster.
Brancaster, yeah.
She paid her money for the event, and the week before, which obviously we couldn't refund at that short at that time.
Yeah.
She suddenly got a job and couldn't go.
Yeah.
And
she was coming from America.
Yeah, she's coming from America.
She
so the
booked
poor
her
woman
flights.
had not only paid for the event, she'd booked her flights and everything and hotel, and she lost a lot.
Yeah.
Because it was short notice. She just
Chance you got to take.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She just started a new job, and they wouldn't give her the time off.
She ended up coming on the second visit, didn't
Yeah,
she?
she went on because she came on
Yeah.
the second one, but
So-
but she lost all that money on the first
Yeah,
one.
because we still had to pay for her.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll do the same,
Yeah.
non-refundable deposits, and we would give the deposits back if the event's cancelled by ourselves, or or if the venue says, look, we can't, or because we have had one before where they've turned around and it's been double booked, or they're up for renovations. So then, once as long on the condition that the venue resupply the deposits back, then obviously we can reinitiate if it's taken out of our control. That is one
thing I've said. That if we ever did Europe again, which we have thought about it, maybe going somewhere else. But if we ever did Europe again, I definitely wouldn't pay for the flights. There's no way I could do that because if you think about it, you're looking about 200 quid for a flight. So that's why we said pay for the venue, make your own way there. You know what I mean?
We've not done one abroad.
So
sounds like a lot of hassle, to be truthful.
It wasn't a lot of hassle, to be honest with you.
The first time we went, it was easy.
It was easy,
and we flew through
KLM.
And it was easy. It was brilliant.
The only hassle was because everyone wanted me to book the flights.
They wanted to be on the same plane.
And it was a case of, do your own flights. But me being soft-hearted.
But they're responsible for getting themselves there and back.
But the second time, we went through Lufthansa.
Yeah.
And they were a ball ache. They really were.
Yeah.
I mean, any more than 5, they class it as a block booking, and they charge you more for it.
Yeah.
You would think they would charge you less because you're taking more people, but they don't.
I'll give you an idea. What we did, all right, it was probably wrong, but 3 of us were using my card to book the flights, trying to get us all on the same flight.
Yeah. 3 separate bookings.
And I was there on the phone with one of my friends. I was on my computer and I had the Skype with somebody else, and I'm there. Right, this is the number. Press the button now, so we could all do it in unison. Mine went through, Kat's went through, and when it came to poor Denise, it took the money, but then it said, we can't confirm your flight. Yeah.
Took the money.
But it took the money, which is why I ended up having a stroke, because I'd lost money, and I'm thinking, hang on, this isn't my money. But it all worked out in the end. But the thing was, that Denise's lot had to pay a little bit extra and go on a different flight, and the flight we were on, there were empty seats. That was the worst thing about it.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So they could have gone on. They could have gone on our flight.
You know what I
It's
mean?
just the Lufthansa would being a ball ache.
But saying that, as I say, if you're not booking for other people on the flight side of it, if they're prepared to do that, because what we did was with Brancaster,
most of our bookings were actually for the team. Though.
Yeah. What we did was we had a word with them. They said yes. But we had a year before we went, and it gave us time to save up, you know what I mean, for it. And what we did was we said, right, this is what we've got. If you're interested, book, pay £100, whatever, £50 non-returnable deposit, blah, 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 right? And we was going in April, and we gave it until February. So we're like from April to February.
Yeah.
if we hadn't have sold
enough
tickets, we cancelled. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had plenty of time to cancel, but thankfully,
we told everybody not to book their flights.
yeah, and we told everyone not to book their flights until
they'd heard from us.
until they'd heard from us, so that they weren't going to lose the money for the flights.
Yeah.
Once we knew we had everything and we had all the money in to pay for the
it was
venue,
paid for.
it was like, right, get your flights now. You know what I mean? And that's what we did. And
That's
yeah,
so
it worked
easy.
out fine.
How did you find it with all your equipment? You know, flying, going
We
through.
couldn't take equipment.
couldn't take
That
it.
was the only thing. So it was
Well-
basically personal hand,
Well,
you
we
know.
kind of
Basics, back to basics.
Yeah,
There was dowsing
yeah.
rods and
Dowsing rods and
K2s and
K2s,
everything
yeah,
else.
but
and
obviously,
buried it amongst our
you know,
luggage.
Yeah.
we took that, we buried that in our luggage.
But we
you know,
couldn't.
but,
We couldn't take cameras and stuff like that.
No.
yeah.
I mean, we tried to rig it up so we could do it on laptops, but at the time we couldn't
No.
get it done fast enough because we could have rigged up.
So they wouldn't let you take video camcorders or anything like that?
Oh, we
Yeah.
could have took that. Yeah,
You
we
couldn't
took
take
them.
CCTV,
Yeah,
But
we took
no,
them.
we
We
couldn't
just
take
couldn't
that
take
and stuff
CCTV.
like that. So because you'd have to pay for the
I mean,
carriage.
if we could have got the program worked out,
Yeah.
when we got the program we had, wouldn't work on Windows 7.
No.
So, but if you could have got it worked out in time, we could have took our laptops and used them as cameras
Yeah.
and recorded straight to the laptop.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get the program sorted out in time.
But as I say, so we just went basic for the experience. We had our K2s, our dowsing rods, you know, all the handheld stuff, you know, and it was really good, wasn't it?
Just buried it all
Yeah.
amongst the luggage.
And I was thinking,
Covered
well,
in
we've done
towels.
Bran Castle now. I'd like to do the Paris catacombs.
Yeah, I
So-
was
Oh,
going to
that
go
was
there
amazing.
for a few years.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sue actually
Gonna
rang
go
them
there.
I
up.
rang them up.
Unfortunately, Sue doesn't speak.
Yeah,
You
no,
know
I
French.
did.
French.
I did, and years ago I rang them up, and all I got was,
Yeah.
"Have you done what you're going to?"
Well, I rang
It was an
this-
operator or something.
Yeah, I rang this guy up, and he didn't even know I was ringing up. And all of a sudden, he heard me go, "Bonjour, monsieur, parlez-vous anglais?" And he went, huh? You know. So I'm talking to him, and he spoke English. I said, "I'm trying to book the Paris Catacombs, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Ring this number." Of course, when I rang the number, it was a blooming answer machine. Bonjour, bloody, 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 you know. And I thought, oh, God, forget that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
we need somebody that at that end who either speaks good English or someone this end who speaks good French.
All those, thankfully, in France, a lot of people do speak
Yeah.
English as their second language. So hopefully, you know, if you might try again.
France
it
isn't
might
too
happen.
far away neither, is it?
No.
It's only
It's not.
Paris. I mean, go across there on a boat, can't
This
you?
is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
we can.
And he said he'd love to go on a trip with our guys. Thought about somewhere like Edinburgh. Unfortunately,
yeah.
the votes are too bloody
Too
expensive.
expensive.
I want to go
My
to Prague.
son actually has a group in
Glasgow.
Scotland, in Glasgow, Lanarkshire Paranormal. And if you want, Andy, one day we can all book on one of these trips.
I might
So-
arrange a Prague visit.
You know, Prague sounds nice.
I might go there. do
You
an
know.
investigation.
That sounds good, actually.
Mm.
Prague. Well, it's that steeped with all sorts
Yeah.
of stuff in Prague. So
Plus, it's cheap as well.
we're going to Prague. That's
Well,
it.
we
We're
actually
going to Prague.
got contacted about Follenbossel Camp, didn't we?
Yes, in Germany, but
They're having trouble getting
They're
the
having problems with insurance and stuff.
yeah.
And
So
the powers
but,
that be with the red tape have been awkward.
I wonder, you know, when you're in England and you got your insurance for your paranormal events, does that still stand when you're abroad?
No,
You
no,
have to
it
look at your
doesn't.
policy.
no, it doesn't.
No.
I thought it was.
That's-
No, it doesn't.
We was told that by using travel insurance that would have covered it. That's what we was told.
Yes, that's something we did check on.
Yeah,
You have to make sure you got it covered on your travel insurance
yeah.
All right.
because
So-
your normal.
Because it will class as
Insurance.
like being in a nightclub or something. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's what they said.
Plus,
something
I'm
like
sure
that.
the venue will have its own insurance as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So,
but it covers you for that.
Sickness. as
What's
well.
it called? Travel insurance. It covers you for the. We needed that public liability, so we told everyone to get their travel insurance
Yeah.
so that they'd be covered. So
Yes, it's one of those things you have to look into before you.
Mm.
Before you
Did it insure you against vampire bites?
no,
no,
Were you
no.
allowed to take garlic?
Yeah.
no, we bought it there.
Did you?
bought it there, yeah.
Did it keep the vampires away from you?
It kept most of them away.
So garlic really works then,
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe.
So, but Andy's just saying
not
that.
all of them. There are a few that quite like garlic.
Did you get bitten?
Andy just said that
garlic.
when he went to the vaults, he paid £6 each for the vaults.
In Edinburgh.
In Edinburgh, it must have been a while ago.
Either that or that's the tour.
It might be just a tour, yeah.
Where there's one somewhere, I can't think where it is. It might be York Dungeon then or something. It might be that instead of the boats.
York Dungeon.
You go somewhere and you're only assigned to one room, and it's like £2,000. It's like £1,000.
Yeah, he said it was a tour.
You know, and you're not allowed to use
the last
equipment.
time I rang them, they said it was. This is a while back. It was £300
for the first 3 hours.
3 hours,
and then £100 an hour.
No,
after
for
that.
the first 2 hours, and then £100 for each hour after that.
Well, there's one that you're not allowed to use your equipment. It's got to all be patent tested.
Oh, it was the whole night, he said.
You've got to have certificates for each piece of equipment to say it's patent tested. I'm not sure if that's York Dungeon or not. Or something like that.
I don't think it is York Dungeon because we did that, and to be honest, it's not worth doing.
It isn't.
Because most of the night you've got the bleeding nightclub upstairs.
York Dungeons, yeah.
And all you can hear is the bloody music. It kills most of the night, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was ages ago. They were one of the first that investigated the dungeons. So
sorry about the cat.
But yeah, this is the thing with most venues. You know what I mean? That they're charging too far. Yes, the companies can afford them.
Well, we keep.
You know what I mean?
Every time we go to a venue or we go to a new venue that's only just started, we keep putting forward that there should be a two-tier price system.
Yeah. Because take for instance Stanley Palace. Yeah. Now that was quite cheap when it started, wasn't it?
It was the first time we went. It was £75.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Now, the last time I contacted her,
it was
she actually turned around and said to me that we had a price and we put the price up because a company had come in.
Yeah.
And they were selling it for 99 quid.
eBay.
Yeah, and basically she needed the money for the building, and she thought, well, if they're going to charge that much, I'm putting the price up, which you can understand.
She gave me the full story because we know her well. Because when we first went there was no groups had ever been in, and we went there. But she was kind enough to, we got it for that venue. When I rung up, she said it was like however many £100s. I thought, what the hell, what the hell's this about?
Yeah.
So when I said to her, I said, well, you must remember who we were. We came in and we were the first ones to do it. You're going back a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I said, but we're not paying. Oh, right, I didn't know who you were. Well, you can have it. And I think she knocked £200 off. And I thought, no, I'm still not paying that. I'm still not doing that. Not for what you get, but you only allow 15 people. Or whatever it were, and I thought, no, not leave it. It's ridiculous.
It's nice, but it's not very big, and it's all wooden floors. So
it's a lovely venue.
So every movement you can hear it everywhere.
It's a lovely venue, but you're limited to where I suppose the places you go. You got the Queen Anne room, and you got the gallery upstairs, and things like that. And apart from that, you've not got many more areas really, have you?
You've got the like the stairs and the bit the entrance hall. So and the hub, really.
Yeah, there's not a lot really you can do. I mean, you think for that price, you'd expect you to be able to keep the keys for the venue at that price.
Yeah, we were doing some automatic writing on there, and we had to stop it quick because some people weren't using the.
That's expensive there, £150 for underground.
Manchester Underground.
Yeah,
£150 an hour.
They weren't using the backing boards, just using paper. When they were scribbling on the paper, it was going through onto the table. Well, not the actual pen, but the marks where the pen had been, so we had to stop it. And fortunately, it didn't damage the table. It was a momentary thing, that a quick wipe and it had gone.
What's that? Sorry.
At Stanley Palace was upstairs.
Do you know any of the history of that place?
We know some, but not.
You know about Lord Stanley?
Yeah.
Where he was taken and where he was taken. Up to the Old Man and Scythe. Up in Bolton and whatnot, and to be executed.
Apparently, he was. They were visited by the Duke of York.
Yeah. So, but as I say, that's the trouble with venues, and as I say, people come up with these silly prices that non-profit can afford. But then again, saying that, if you take people like Hyde Town Hall, they upped the prices because they didn't want anybody in.
Have they stopped doing it then?
I don't know.
I've heard that they've stopped doing it now.
But they upped the prices because they thought that would deter people, but it only deterred people that were non-profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it deterred the smaller group to companies.
Yeah. So
they could still afford it.
I've heard in the pipeline that they don't allow it anymore. High Town Hall, but so how true that is, I don't know. It's a long time since I've been there.
Yeah, I wanted to do that pub in Manchester.
Which one?
The one that was run by somebody else. We went down to have a look at it with Paul.
Shakespeare?
No,
Done the Shakespeare.
Athenaeum.
Done that.
Athenaeum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
That's right, yeah.
It's run by somebody else who you guys all know quite well.
So
I'm not keen on as far as I can
Well,
understand.
it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be. I don't know
At
what
the
it is
time.
now.
It used to be.
At the time, it still was.
Yeah.
When they were running it, they were doing it. Nobody went there. We managed to go because this group wasn't doing it anymore.
Yeah.
So then we went and we did it. I think it changed hands actually, to be truthful, at some stage. So we did it, and they said that they was incorporating paranormal groups again. If anybody else has been there since, I don't know.
No.
But, and the Shakespeare, yeah, we did that.
PJ's just said it's closed down now.
Has it?
Yeah, apparently.
I won't be surprised because everything's shut down.
But
so we won't be doing it then.
but no, as I say, that this is the thing that venues they do. They want the sim, but then again they're thinking of the money. If they brought the prices down a little bit for people to be able to afford it, not just the companies, they'd probably earn more money. But then again,
I don't see how the breweries can shut all these pubs down and things. If pubs seem to be one of the biggest things for bringing in paranormal groups and things like that, but it's either the landlord that's keeping all the money. But I would have thought if they had an agreement with the breweries as well at the same time, wouldn't it help be able to fund keeping the?
But then again, I don't like doing pubs.
No,
do you know what I mean? Because the late license and that.
I'm not a lover. I'm not a lover of pubs.
By the time that look what happened.
But having said that,
some good stuff in it.
If the venue was actually closed as a public house, then the breweries could turn it over to purely to
paranormal events while it's sitting there doing nothing.
Well, they're all boarded up.
Yeah,
People still making money off it.
While it's doing nothing.
Yeah, of course you can.
If nothing else, it's paying the rent.
Yeah. Of course you can. That's actually, I might contact Robbie's Brewery about that actually, because I've contacted Robinson's Brewery before at Stockport. I have spoken to him before.
Because as I say, some venues, you end up going there and they don't finish until 12. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
we actually did a charity.
Yes, in Middleton.
And the pub didn't shut until 1:15. And it's like, we're supposed to be doing a charity event here.
And there wasn't much in there anyway.
No, there was only about half a dozen people in, but we couldn't do anything until they'd...
Well, we used to have a way around that. Like PJ's just put on the chat room there. Excuse me, we used to have a way around it. Because sometimes we knew pubs, like, they're old pubs and they had a lot to offer maybe on the historical values and paranormal values, but then we also understood that if they was too close to the public and just let us in on their own, they're not, the chances of doing that is going to be next to nil, because they're going to be losing out on so much revenue from customers and regulars. So what we used to do, we haven't done it one for a while, but we used to organise live events, sort of a live paranormal event there. So we'd speak to the landlord and they'd say, well, okay, well, we put posters up. They'd do some supper for people, maybe charge them $5 or whatever to come in, or whatever, or it's up to them. We left it up to the landlord. Yeah. So people was more gathered down the centre. We had monitors up on the screen. We had a big screen. We had monitors on the thingy, and we had a live camera. And we'd go down the cellars, we'd go up the stairs and everything else, and everybody would be congressing in this big room drinking the drinks. And they'd be watching us on the live screens, like the big projectors. Yeah. They'd be watching that, and then we'd have a team on the ground who'd be liaising and speaking to the customers, because everybody would be like, "What's going on there?" Like they do.
Yeah.
And then halfway through, what we'd do is, obviously we have to make sure people, was safe because of drinking and things like that. But we used to do a raffle, and the winners would probably pick 2 people to join us on an event, when we take them upstairs and whatnot. But we'd have to obviously keeping their eye on them because of having a drink and things like that. And it used to be great. It was absolutely fantastic, and the pubs used to be heaving, absolutely heaving. Yeah. PJ will remember that, and probably Viscount on there should, because he was with us on...
Like a mini Most Haunted Life.
That type of thing. I mean, we did the Bull's Head on the market in Stockport, and BBC, the TV was there.
PJ just said that... Robertson's now throw the religious card at you, Chris.
Well, yeah, maybe to do. But I have spoke to them before, and they have said to me previously, it's that you can do what you want to do, but it's the landlord's discretion. But if the pub hasn't got a landlord and it's shut down, then it's, And the thing is, money talks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's putting it over, and I don't think maybe anyone has done it, but it's putting it over to them and saying, look, your venue's there rotting away. We understand the health and safety issues regardless because it's all boarded up and everything. However, here's our liability insurance. We take it upon ourselves and our risk assessment.
Yeah, and all we need is one member of your staff.
Yeah,
to be there on the night.
Or you can come along, you can lock us in, or you give us the keys. We give you a signed affidavit to say that we're going to return these keys back to the to you or whatever. We take full responsibility. The police and the authorities have been notified that we're going to be there, because obviously people walking past, can you hear strange noises in there? Call the police. Yeah. So all the authorities, we take full responsibility of ourselves. We will pay you whatever it is you want us to pay, and just leave us to it. If any accidents occur, then we've got the insurance for that, and we don't hold them responsible. It's something to talk about, and they probably go away and go, well, I don't know, and then think, well, if
worth a try.
We've got more pubs closed down than what we've got open.
Yeah,
we could be making more money from the pubs closed down than what we actually get from the ones that are open. And so, and they might actually start looking at it and thinking, and if more people did that, they might think, you know what, this could be something in there.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's only while they're trying to get a buyer for the place.
Yeah.
Because obviously, when they shut them down, they eventually sell them on to other companies. But that, depending on the climate, that could be 12 months.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Ghost Rider there is just saying, does anybody remember Wines and Spirits? And I did it. I did an episode on there.
Yeah, that was
Wines and Spirits.
Stuart and Carl, wasn't it?
Yeah, Stuart and Carl, and that was for haunted pubs in Stockport, and it was the White Lion, which is shut down, and the Queen's Head, where that's still open. That where the smallest toilet is in Europe. So I was on Wines and Spirits for that, which you can see on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, they did that Brannigan's again, didn't they?
I've never been in there. We tried to get it. Yeah, they have. And they did the Shakespeare as well.
Yeah, the last time we contacted Brannigan's, they were on about putting a cocktail bar upstairs.
I'll tell you a funny tale about Shakespeare, if you're interested.
Go on.
Just for observation tests.
Yeah, go on.
Went to the Shakespeare, and we were doing some filming.
First of all, can you tell everybody where the Shakespeare is?
Shakespeare is in Manchester.
Fountain Street.
Fountain Street,
near
isn't
Piccadilly.
it? The shambles. Things like that. It
says
on the side, isn't it?
No, it's near Piccadilly.
Yeah, but it's got a big sign on the side about the shambles and things like that, or the writing about it.
Didn't know we had a shambles.
Yeah, I think
yeah, that's what he says.
it's meant to have been moved from somewhere else, but I think it's not as old as it says it is, and the frontage is actually fake.
Yeah.
I know part of Flecky Bennett's walks around that area.
Well, we were doing some filming for Project Poltergeist, which is what we was doing, and Emma was involved in that. And a few of the others who weren't team members for us. There was at the time, and a couple of us went along. I thought what we'd do just for fun, and it was really it was good. We stood outside the venue, and myself and another colleague who's not with us now, but he was there, and we both had these torches. We had a mag light, the long mag light, and I've got this wind up torch, which I've still got, a little silver torch with a light on the front. And you hold the handle and you spin it and it lights. So I
hate them things.
So what we did, I had this mag light, and I turned it upside down, and I gave my colleague my other torch, and he started winding it, and I said, I want you to use it as though it's a camera. So he's holding it to his face, and he started using it, and he's winding it on, and I'm there, so I stand in front of him. With the mag light upside down, we're here, and the passers-by, because it was daytime, passers-by are walking past, and then they see us, and they'd stop, and they think, oh, I don't want to be, sorry, can I just, hi, we're live, we're outside the Shakespeare, in Manchester, we're going to do a paranormal investigation in there now, let's tell you a bit of history, and that's what we do, and then we'd stop people in the street, and we say, excuse me, sir, have you ever been in the Shakespeare? And they'd look at, they'd look at the camera, the torch, they'd be like, ooh. And then I'd pass them the mag light, and they'd be going, do you know any history about the Shakespeare? Well, yeah, and they'd be, sorry, can you just speak a bit louder? Yeah, and they'd be, and honestly, and they'd be talking into it. So I thought, that's actually a good observation test, because if people believe something is to be something else, i.e. like on a paranormal investigation, if somebody believes something, it just shows how people can, be fooled by little things. So I thought it was a good observation test, but it was funny, and it was good.
I bet it was.
Yeah, PJ's just said the shambles is a shambles. SQ was moved piece by piece from Fountain Street, Manchester.
That's what I was right about shambles.
Yeah, but it's not there. It's where the big screen is now.
Yeah, but there's a
isn't
big sign on the side of the Shakespeare that tells you all about the shambles and whatnot. It's there on the side of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do believe I've seen the sign.
Yeah.
I just want to say Stephen Mercer's put on my poster on Facebook. He said, had a great time this evening with you all. Thank you. So
He's welcome.
he's welcome anytime. Thank
And
you, Steve.
and don't forget, you guys out there that are listening, if you're a member of the group or a venue, contact us. Come on and tell us about your venue and your group. We don't care. We want to listen. We want to know about you.
Yeah. Tell us all about it.
If you're a venue, then you can come on, tell us what's supposed to be at your venue, prices and stuff like that, contacts.
Yeah.
And you never know. It gets you out there.
This is it. So, and don't forget, we are always recalled for replay purposes on our YouTube channel. So you can just find us on there.
Yeah, we actually get more hits on the replay than we do on the
Yeah, we do.
than we do on the night. Which is,
Anyway, we've come to the end of the night, I think. So I've got to go and look at. We've got to go and look at a new venue tomorrow, haven't we, in Burton on Trent?
yes, got to be up early tomorrow.
Called The Block.
And I've got to go home and try a new dress on.
Not that pink number again.
So,
It's the sequin one. I gave you the pink one back.
Oh right, okay.
but just quickly, Andy says, if talking about observations, have you ever seen this? Just clicking on the link, selective attention test. So perhaps you can have a look on there. So see what you can see. I'll add that to the replay. Right. So let's just tell you what's coming on next week. Okay. And
he's counting down to his visit.
yes, so are we. So basically, next week we are going all cryptozoology. It's about time. We have not done it this year yet. So we've got Richard Freeman coming on, our resident cryptozoologist. And apart from other things that he's going to be talking about, he's going to be telling us about his Tasmanian expedition report.
Oh, yes,
looking for the Tasmanian wolf.
Yes, they went off to. There was quite a few teams that went off to Australia, wasn't there?
Or otherwise known as the thylacine. Now, this Tasmanian wolf is said to have died out in the 30s. And they've been saying now that there's been sightings of it, and due to its uncertainty of whether the species is still extant or not, the thylacine is sometimes regarded as a cryptid. So we will be talking about cryptozoology next week, and other stuff. So if you're into Bigfoot and stuff like that, we'll talk about that.
You know what you get with Bigfoot, don't you?
Go
Massive shoes.
You do,
don't you?
Our resident ghost, Mr. Simon Mellor,
yes,
is a member of our team, but due to circumstances, he doesn't get to come along with us very often. He's actually in Sumatra at the moment on an expedition.
Is that as in Frank? Frank Sumatra?
No.
No,
sorry, I'm not having that one.
Nah.
And when is Andy on, anyway? When is Mr. Andy Mercer
coming
on the show?
Will be live in the hub.
In the hub?
In the hub.
I'll call her in the hub.
In the hub with us all.
In the hood.
On the 17th of August.
17th of August.
I don't know what we're talking about yet, but he's coming. He probably did say, but I've not written it in my
Let's talk
diary.
about pretty dresses and
we are talking
flowers.
Maybe you can give us a fashion show.
Maybe I could. Oh yeah, I'll make you daisy chain.
I don't know. I'll have to have a look at the
made it of ghost
see if
daisies.
I can work out what we're talking about.
Yeah, Andy's forgotten as well.
Yeah, I've forgotten
Folk
as
magic,
well.
he says.
Who?
Folk magic.
Folk magic. Has he just remembered?
Yes, he just put it on.
Right. Okay.
I thought you were swearing then.
Me too.
And John said live past life regression.
So.
I'll go for that. I don't care.
That's with that's with or PLR.
Yeah, but Andy can do that as well.
Yeah, do you fancy putting Steve under live on the night, or even Chris here?
What about me?
Yeah,
What have I done? It wasn't
past
me.
life
yeah. He's just said it's going to be folk magic and PLR.
Well,
Yeah, it's
but
gonna
my
be a
past
late
life,
night.
I used to be a maggot. I haven't changed really. No, I'll do it. It doesn't mind me because.
So anyway,
I know.
that's what's coming up in the next week. So please join us. I know it's cryptozoology, but it's all comes part and parcel to the subject.
Yes.
And we will be jumping back on something paranormal, ghostlified afterwards, won't we, Chris?
Yes, we're
Yeah.
talking about other things as well.
Yes.
And
So
and we'll be doing some observations for us once again.
I will.
yes.
Yes, well done tonight, Emma.
So
I'll try not to get too many silly words for you.
Thank you.
okay. So as I say, we will be talking about the Tasmanian wolf, which is his dream find. I know that
Yes.
much.
Yeah, he's got
really interested
He's
in
got
that.
two things that he really wants to find.
Yeah.
One is the Tasmanian wolf, or the down the scene, and the other is the orang pendek
the Iran
in
Pendek.
Sumatra,
Yes.
which
So-
I think is what our Simon's gone looking for.
And he will also be talking to us about the weird weekend coming up.
Oh yes, the weird weekend.
Yeah, we're supposed to be
So-
going to that.
You know, but
yeah.
Well, we've been invited to go to it.
Yes, they've
what, down in Bideford?
Devon.
Yes.
Yeah, Devon.
Yeah, they've had a change of venue.
Yes.
Oh, right. Well, because they wrote to us and said, you guys coming down and we do give it us at a discount price to go.
Yeah.
So many of us, but I don't know if we're going to make
Yeah,
it, to be truthful.
we was going to go.
We were
but,
supposed to go down there and do a talk, but
something's come up and unfortunately we can't make it.
yeah, so
Yeah, and we're not sure about ourselves at the
so
minute.
I'll have to book it for next year.
First time we went, we actually took the tent.
Yeah.
Weather was disgusting, but we actually heard the big cat.
Yes, we did.
There was a van on the site, a big white van with two big old-fashioned dogs in it. They put in there overnight, and they were going nuts, weren't they? They sensed this cat, and they were going absolutely nuts in this van. And we actually heard it giving its growl, and it wasn't until the next day that we mentioned it to.
We was talking to the cat man, weren't we?
What's his name? He's been on the show. Can't remember his name.
Stephen. Oh
No, it's not Stephen.
God, I know his name. McGowan.
Yeah, McGowan. He heard it as well from where he was camping. He was camping at the Word Weekend venue, and he actually thought that the people there were winding him up, and just played the recording to get him going. And it wasn't until we said what we heard that he actually realised that he had heard what he heard. It wasn't a wind up.
Jonathan McGowan. It was.
Yeah, John McGowan.
Yeah.
And on that site, apparently previously, a lion had been spotted.
Yeah.
A young lion had been spotted there,
So there
and
are big cats
not a
out
big
there.
and not a big pussycat.
One place I would like to go to is Cannock Chase. How do you fancy it, guys?
Where?
Cannock Chase.
Are you paying? I'm coming.
It's free.
Outside, it's free.
It's
Yeah,
free. It's
no, no.
outside. They've got a German cemetery which is haunted. Yeah.
Ooh.
They
Is
have.
it haunted?
They have werewolf apparently
There's been
sightings.
werewolf sightings.
They have big cat sightings.
There's big cat sightings.
And UFOs.
there's
So you've got the whole thing there.
Wow. So it's going to be easy,
There's been
Tiger.
giant snake sightings
Yes.
as well. There's everything's supposed to have happened at Cannock Chase.
Yeah.
And the pig man. Mustn't forget the pig man.
The pig man?
Yeah.
And the pig man. Yeah.
And the pig man.
So
And what about the pig man? Don't forget the pig man.
I don't know about the pig man.
Yeah,
You don't know about the pig man?
I forgot about the pig
Oh, I
man.
forgot about the pig man.
Don't forget the pig man.
So
What's his name told us about him when he
Lee
came
Brinkley and his
on?
book.
Lee Brinkley come on and told us about his
Yeah.
book.
Do you ever remember a TV programme
And
called
PJ
Monkey?
says that's just not far, Chris.
That sounds
It's in
alright.
Staffordshire.
Staffordshire.
Staffordshire. So
And he said we can go when he comes up.
the legend of the pig man. Oh yeah, we could do that.
We can do that weekend.
Yeah. So
You up for it, guys?
here you go.
Yeah, why not?
Give you an idea of the Cannock Chase creatures. Yeah. There's a panther alert. There was new sightings of that. There's a giant serpent, not to mention a phantom black dog, a Bigfoot, UFOs, Sasquatch or Sasquatch. It says. There's been loads of sightings about these things,
And ghosts at the German cemetery.
Is it like a weird creature convention there? Why are they all gathered there?
I don't know.
No
It's just a place.
It's a set of woods. But
okay.
lots of things seem to happen there for some reason.
Eyewitnesses claim to have spotted a 14-foot snake lurking in undergrowth, and paranormal investigator Nick Redfern believes it's more than a monster mutant and may have links to the Loch Ness Monster. Well, you know what I mean? So they've got all sorts there, but maybe I can get hold of Lee Brinkley and see if we can organise something.
Yeah, PJ said it's UFO Central.
Yes. So
you get lots of stuff going on. But when you come up, Andy, we'll get the guys together and we'll pop down and...
that might be an idea. Might have a word with Lee and see whether he's available to give us a...
Well, I'm wearing trousers with elastic bands on the bottom because I'm having no big serpent...
Bicycle clips!
Well, I'll wear... wacky bands. I'll wear my combats because they're held up with these gator...
Even if we go during the day, it'd be no problem. It's a dog walking place.
I mean, no serpents crawling up my leg.
You know, because do you know what they say? It doesn't have to be night time, does it?
No, we can use it as a boa.
Boa.
No, I'm not having that one. No.
Right, we'll have to discuss that, Andy, and see whether we're going to go in the night time or whatever, or in the daytime. So, maybe early evening or something.
Yes, and Ghost Wise said the reason it's like that now it's full up in Norfolk.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get together and sort that. Oh, he wants to go night time. So we'll have to sort that out. See whether we can have a word with Lee.
Yeah, have a word with Lee.
Is that the Friday night or the Saturday night? So see what we can do.
I would suggest the Saturday.
Right.
Because obviously people are
Saturday would be easier.
Working Fridays, and so
but then you've got to think about your Sunday.
Emma's got work Fridays.
Yeah, I know.
She comes home and then she goes on one day. She's going to be absolutely knackered the next day.
I
did an invest last week and got up from the show. Mind you don't have to stay there too late, do you? 1, 2 o'clock or something. So he said he'd bring his night cams. So
yeah, we can.
I'll have a word with Lee, see whether we can
take some gadgets
out.
down and see what we get. Maybe our Andy will come down with us as well.
Yeah.
What about
Andy
bait?
said,
Make a gang of it.
So
leave some cheeseburgers on floor, some bait. You know, like if there's wild animals there, or these animals.
Stop at McDonald's on the way.
Oh yeah, because when they start disappearing.
Or we can use Michaela.
It could be me. Yeah.
I didn't say that. I don't know.
It was her birthday yesterday.
She'll probably batter me at the next meeting.
Happy birthday for yesterday, Michaela.
Just turned 67.
So right. Well, anyway, I think
and we didn't say that one either.
I think on that note, don't forget we're here.
This is where it's at.
Yep, and there'll be the 4 of us again next week, won't there? Yeah. Yes.
I'm bringing a ghost with me next time, so I was love a
why not?
Spooky guest.
So we'll be here every Sunday, and hopefully you'll join us too for another
round
of paranormal chat.
And that only leaves one thing to say then, guys.
Yeah, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Keep the paranormal friendly. Good night,
everyone. Take care.
To see in the night, to measure the spike, to see how cold it's been. I buy my kit so I won't forget the ghosties that I have seen. The Paranormal Intelligence Gathering Services Ghost Store. So visit www.the-pigs.co.uk/ghost store.